It's Monday, January 5th. Local reaction after the United States strikes Venezuela and detains the country's president.
Now McKenna gathers it back up. Here's Benek the other way for the Czechs. Feeds it in for Curran moving in. Curran with a chance. Rebound loses, but they score!
Disappointment on the ice for Canada at the World Juniors as they fall to Czechia in the semifinals.
But no disappointment on this ice. The entire length of the Rideau Canal opens at 8 a.m. today. Your Morning Ottawa starts right now. Good morning. Come on in. I'm Rosie Edda.
I'm Melissa Lamb, and Will is away for today.
Oh, my goodness. We've got some great news.
Do we ever?
Take a look here.
That's right. Great news for skaters. The entire length of the Rideau Canal Skateway is now open starting today at 8 a.m. But we do have some warm weather on the way, so will it threaten the ice? We'll have the full details in your forecast coming up in a few minutes, but at least we get a couple of days that you can enjoy the entire skateway of the Rideau Canal. This puts a smile on my face. Amazing. The last time that the skateway opened in December was way back in like 2018.
Yeah. So it's been a minute, and now folks can enjoy it. And I do believe the very first day it opened on the 30th of December, the Prime Minister took a little skate as well.
That. I've seen so many people, people posting photos and videos of them out and about on the ice. So it's so great to see Ottawa really embracing winter with the Rideau Canal.
All right, we're going to take a look right now at your top stories. The people of Venezuela are now bracing for what comes next following the U.S. attack on the country and capture of its leader. Nicolas Maduro is set to answer charges in court today, and late last night, President Donald Trump talking about the need to take over Venezuela.
We're going to run it, fix it. We'll have elections at the right time. But the main thing you have to fix is a broken country. There's no money. There's inflation.
He also suggested he's not done mentioning Colombia, Mexico, and Cuba as countries of concern. Debate over the future of Venezuela spilled into the streets of Ottawa as demonstrators gathered outside the U.S. Embassy, arguing the U.S. had no right to get involved.
It's an outrageous violation of Venezuela's sovereignty and the political project that's been unfolding in Venezuela for a number of years.
I am a Chilean. I saw the coup in Chile. I saw when they killed the president. So Maduro has to return to Venezuela. He is the president of Venezuela, and the Venezuelans want him back.
Organizers say they stand with the people of Venezuela in defense of their sovereignty, but some Venezuelans in the capital are cautiously optimistic about U.S. intervention in their home country.
Very glad, very happy, because we want to live with freedom.
She says economic hardship and poor treatment of Venezuelans pushed her to leave. But after hearing Maduro was extricated by the U.S. military, she says she feels some relief.
You may be seeing a bit more traffic this morning as public service workers in the province will be returning to full-time office work for the first time since the start of the pandemic, and the feelings are mixed.
As a healthcare worker, we work every day. Going back to the office, you're productive. You get up in the morning, you get out to work. It's work, right?
What's your take?
I think it's good that people work 5 days a week. Yeah.
In the office?
In the office, yeah.
There's simply not enough parking to be able to accommodate all these additional office workers, because it's not just the feds or it's not just OPS, it's also private and stuff like that.
Roughly half of the 60,000 public service employees have been working in the office 4 days a week since October. For the third straight year, Canada has been eliminated from the World Junior Championships by Czechia before the gold medal game.
Now McKenna gathers it back up. Here's Benek the other way for the Czechs. Feeds it in for Curran moving in. Curran with a chance. Rebound loses, but they score!
The previous two defeats came in the quarterfinals. The final score in last night's semifinal was 6-4. Canada will take on Finland in the bronze medal game.
2 people are dead after a shooting in Cornwall over the weekend. Police tape surrounds a home on Leek Drive, a residential neighborhood in the east end of the city. Investigators say when they arrived on scene Saturday, they found 3 people, all known to each other, with serious injuries. 2 people died at the scene. The 3rd adult was transported to hospital where they remain in stable condition. Police believe this shooting was isolated and there is no risk to public safety.
Dozens of people were forced out of their homes after a fire in a multi-unit high-rise building on St. Patrick's Street. Ottawa fire crews were called out to the 600 block of St. Patrick's Street yesterday afternoon. Upon arrival, firefighters spotted haze and detected high levels of carbon monoxide throughout the building. An OC Transpo bus was brought in to shelter for displaced residents, and the situation was deemed under control just after 3:15 p.m.
Ontario Provincial Police say a 70-year-old woman is dead after a crash in Russell Township. Around 4 p.m. on Saturday, first responders were called to the intersection of North Russell Road and Route 200 after a 2-vehicle crash involving an SUV and a sedan. A 70-year-old woman was transported to hospital where she was pronounced dead. No other injuries were reported.
Great news for skaters this morning. The Rideau Canal Skateway is about to open in its entirety. The National Capital Commission says the full 7.8 kilometer of the skateway is set to open at 8 a.m. However, the NCC says the Patterson Creek area will remain closed to skating this season due to rehabilitation work. Last season, the skateway opened on January 11th and closed on March 10th.
Girls from across the city took to the ice this weekend for the Ottawa Charge Skills Clinic.
There was never many girl hockey players for us growing up, so to be on the ice with female coaches and other female players is so important and so inspiring.
About 100 female players signed up for the 3 clinics on Sunday at TD Place. Players ranging from 8 to 14 years old. Women's hockey has been exploding in popularity. The Charge hope to help the players hone their skills and have fun in the process.
The team says there will be future clinics, and registration for the next one is set to begin January 13th.
Love this.
Yes.
So fantastic.
Oh, wow.
And you really have seen an explosion of women's hockey, and it's so great to have the PWHL now, because now there's something to inspire, to become, right? There's no end after college. It's like you can turn pro.
It's amazing to see this skills clinic. And so you're there, the professional women's hockey players, the Charge, are teaching you some skills.
Right?
So you're just like, okay, take it in and, you know, repeat and emulate what they do. It's really quite amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that so much. Well, as we heard, the skateway is getting set to open the Rideau Canal at 8 a.m. However, the forecast may not be so good for the Rideau Canal. Later on this week, we have some warmer weather on the way.
Okay.
We do indeed. However, you have today that you will be able to enjoy it as we are dealing with colder conditions. But we also have some snow on the way as well. Currently sitting at -16, does feel closer to -22 this morning with that wind chill. So yes, another cold start to your morning, but we will get a break from the cold weather later on this week. -16 as well in the valley, -18 along the Seaway, -12 currently in Trenton. Currently in our skies, we're seeing cloudy conditions, so we will see cloud coverage to start off your morning. So no snow until about 10, 11 o'clock this morning. That's when we're expecting periods of light snow to begin, and it will kind of snow throughout most of the day today. So you could see this white band and this purple band. Snow will be heavy at times, but then light at others. We are expecting about 2 up to 4 centimeters. Most of the snow happening into the afternoon and tapering off later on this evening. Could still see some flurries, however, into the overnight, and that we could see some flurries kind of lingering off and on throughout the work week this week. And we could even see a bit of rain later on this week as temperatures will warm up above that freezing mark towards more the middle end of the work week. Today's daytime high is -13, so yes, still a little bit below seasonal, but if you're going out in the skateway, dress warmly, and it will be a beautiful day as we are expecting some fresh snow on the way as well, 2 up to 4 centimeters. Also a great day for the ski hills today, and temperatures a little bit colder throughout the region, but not as cold as it was throughout the weekend forecast. -9 in the valley for today, -8 in Bancroft, -3 for Trenton, -2 in Kingston, -12 if you are along the Seaway, -9 in the valley, -14 in Kittigan-Zippy, as well as over in Mont-Tremblant. So over the next 7 days, you'll see temperatures really fluctuate this this week. Today's the coldest day with a high of -13. Again, 2 to 4 centimeters of snow. Temps will have around -14 into your overnight. We could see some flurries Tuesday and through Wednesday. Temperatures not so bad, so it would be great days to get outside and actually enjoy the outdoors. Won't be as cold as it was over the weekend and over last week as well. -6 for Tuesday, -2 on Wednesday. Then as we head into Thursday, that's when it's going to start to warm up slightly. Temperatures hovering around that freezing mark with daytime highs of 0. As we head into Friday, a high of 4 degrees. Even the weekend, fairly mild. We could see some rain Friday and through Saturday. On your roads this morning, here's a live look at your time saver traffic. No major issues to report. It is smooth sailing out there on your roads, but as we heard, traffic could be a little bit busier today, so we will keep an eye on the roads for you this morning. Now let's check out your TSN must-see moment.
Hello there, welcome inside the Sports Center newsroom. Adam Scully here with your must-see moment from Sunday. And for it, we're heading to Los Angeles. Cardinals and the Rams, second quarter, 4th and goal. Matt Stafford throws one up for Puka Nacua. Leaps up and makes the spectacular one-handed catch for the touchdown. Nacua with the defender all over him, goes up and snags it out of midair. That highlight reel play is your must-see moment from Sunday. Monday on TSN, you can see Canada battle Finland for the bronze medal at the World Junior Hockey Championship. Pre-game coverage starts at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
Coming up on Your Morning Ottawa, it's back to reality for many of us in the capital with return to work and school. So we check out how some residents were soaking up the final days of the winter holiday coming up next. Here's a live look for a Centennial Glass sky cam this morning. It's still a little bit of a cold start to your morning. Feels closer to -22 this hour. Snow on the way starting around 10, 11 o'clock this morning.
Welcome back. Here are the big stories we are following today on Your Morning Ottawa. Debate over the future of Venezuela spilled into the streets of Ottawa as demonstrators gathered outside the U.S. Embassy. Public service workers in the province will be returning to full-time office work for the first time since the start of the pandemic. And the Rideau Canal Skateway is going to open in its entirety today. Now let's check out the forecast. It's a cold start to your day. And this morning, -21. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds, so very cold, might I say bitterly cold out there. Into the afternoon, yeah, we're going to reach a high of -13, so well below our seasonal average. And we got some snow starting up later this morning. We could pick up about 2 to 4 centimeters, and then we'll have periods of light snow into the evening and overnight hours. Let's take a look now at your traffic. No major slowdowns for you at, 6:15 this Monday morning. But yes, folks are back to work, so I would expect that the roadways will become a little bit more congested as we move into the later morning hours. It's back to reality for many today after a long time away from work and school to celebrate the holidays and the new year. CTV's Camille Wilson caught up with families on how they are preparing.
I'm disappointed a little bit. The holidays have been pretty fun.
Miranda and her family are enjoying a last skate on the Rideau Canal Skateway before school starts.
I'm still off one.
She is still learning how to skate, but it beats being in the classroom.
I'm not excited for the fact that my teacher said that there's not going to be any spelling tests till January. It's January.
Families and tourists taking in one final hurrah before the Christmas, New Year's holidays wraps up.
I've had both boys home from daycare and school for a little over 2 weeks now, and the house is a bit of a disaster, so I'm looking forward to getting that organized, getting everybody back to their regular food, regular routine, regular sleeping schedule.
First time for Catherine Lewis and son Elliot since the skateways opened.
We stayed local, so we enjoyed a lot of museums.
Many families taking advantage of the Canada Strong Pass over the holidays, offering free admission to national museums for children under the age of 17 and free travel on Via Rail for those aged 17 and under when accompanied by an adult.
We're actually from Montreal, so we came to Ottawa today to visit various museums. So we just came from the Agriculture Museum. Now we're going to the Science Museum. And later today, we're going to be going to the Nature Museum as well. Yeah, so just a big museum day.
Ottawa Tourism says the holiday season is a great balance of outdoor and indoor activities that draws a lot of attraction to the city. And although some are not excited to go back, it's not the same for everyone.
I'm excited for tomorrow.
For Miranda, there's one last activity she wants to check off her list before school on Monday.
I'm excited to teach this little stinker how to knit tonight.
Camille Wilson, CTV News.
Looking at those shots of the Rideau Canal Skateway, today it will open in its entirety, 7.8 kilometers as of 8 a.m. this morning. The question is, if you are going to head out there, are you going to bundle up? Because it's going to be particularly cold. Right now, we are sitting at minus 16. That's the actual temperature. Factor in the wind chill, feels more like minus 19. So it's a cold start to the day, but then it'll warm up as we move throughout the morning. And then we're going to get up to minus 13. We are expecting a bit of snow today, a little bit more than a dusting, possible 2 to 4 centimeters of snow. So I have not yet been on the skateway, but I am looking forward to heading out there. It's just that I'm feeling like a little bit wimpy. So I would love to hear about you and how you're preparing for the cold out there and if you are going to hit the skateway. So that will be great. But we are asking in our question of the day, when do you stop saying Happy New Year? I walked in today, wished everybody a Happy New Year, but when does that end? That's our question of the day. We'll get back to that, but right now, the ouster of the president of Venezuela by the U.S. military sent shockwaves through the Western Hemisphere as President Donald Trump heralded the operation in the oil-rich Latin American nation a success. In a statement on social media, Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canada has not recognized Maduro's regime since it, quote, stole the 2018 election. But he also writes that he calls on all parties to respect international law. Let's bring in Bill Carroll with more on this from the Morning Rush on News Talk 580 CFRA. Happy New Year to you, Bill.
And Happy New Year to you guys and everybody watching this morning. It's good to be back after a couple of weeks off, but shocking to wake up a couple of days ago and hear that, the U.S. had attacked Venezuela and taken their, I'm not going to use the word president in this case because he didn't earn that title, but their leader was taken in the middle of the night along with his wife. I am not going to shed any tears there. I understand this is a government that wasn't considered legitimate by many countries anywhere in the world, and the people of Venezuela may ultimately be much better off without him. The problem I have is, where does this go now? We have the president of the United States. He has attacked the nation because he said it was a terrorist, narco, failed state. I've already seen some Trump supporters, granted, the more extreme ones saying, Canada is already a failed narco state. He's used some of the same arguments that we are a source of fentanyl, that we're not doing enough to stop it. He's used the same language and the 51st state jokes about Canada that he's used against Venezuela. And he's amped up that talk now against Greenland again. At least the leader in Denmark, because Greenland is sort of a Denmark protectorate, was very clear on the weekend. Do not look at Greenland. It would not be legal. We're a member of NATO. You'd be attacking an ally. Very forceful. Our prime minister is obviously trying to stay off Donald Trump's radar. And I'm not sure that's the kind of leadership we need right now. And we need the entire world to stand up and say, justify your attack on Venezuela. And I'm not saying that you can't justify it, but the world needs to know exactly why you did it, what you consider legal about it, even within his own country. Is it constitutional? Can he act without Congress? A lot of questions there. But the world should be demanding answers. Instead, we're all afraid of Donald Trump, and so we're just letting him take over Venezuela. In fact, in the past, when Americans have tried to bring about regime change, we've wondered about their exit plan. I don't even know what the entry plan is here. He talked about the fact that we are now running the country. And then his Secretary of State denied that later and said, no, we're not running the country. You got rid of someone who was the head of a drug cartel, but you left the vice president of the drug cartel in place. Does that make any sense? I mean, we should all have a lot of questions and concerns about this. And Rosie, I haven't even touched on the fact that he now has control of almost the same kind of oil that our country produces. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have to make some economic shifts and some shifts in our thinking about pipelines and other things based on America having access to oil that previously it was not having access to, because it does have huge economic impact on our country as well. This is a very big deal for Canada. Yeah. We need to wake up to that.
Bill, yeah, we have a lot of questions. We're going to be talking with Scott Hurst a little bit later. I have a lot of questions for you, but unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you so much, Bill.
I know I talked out the clock as usual, but sorry about that.
Thank you for that, Bill. Have a great show.
You too.
And remember, you can listen to The Morning Rush with Bill Carroll on News Talk 580 CFRA weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. Here's a live look from our sky cam on George Street. A cold start to your day. We are sitting at minus 16 right now. You're watching Your Morning Ottawa.
Happy New Year.
It's a little late, frankly, for the Happy New Year's, you know?
Why? Just happened a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, that's too long. Statute of limitations is kind of run out on the New Year's.
Well, today is January 5th and the first day back to work and school for many of us. So you will likely be hearing Happy New Year many, many times today. But when is it too late to wish someone a Happy New Year? We want you to let you know our thoughts. Ottawa.morning@ctv.ca. And of course, we've already said it amongst all of us this morning. You walk in and we haven't seen each other. So it's, I even did the Merry Christmas. I'm like, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, because I haven't seen a lot of people.
Yeah, that's true. You haven't, and as soon as you walked in, you said Happy New Year.
Yes.
I first said, hey, good morning, Melissa. And you went, Happy New Year. I went, oh, yeah. Happy New Year. But I'm thinking this week.
Yes.
That's it.
I'm right with you.
That's it. If I haven't seen you, since 2025, and I see you next week, January, 14th.
Yeah.
I think I might be like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, it's just back to business.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like that too. We were talking about it on the radio this morning as well, and they were saying like, today's the last day. And I'm like, no, I'm going to give people the week.
Yes.
Only because we're back into work, back into school. Some people have today off still. Some people may not return to work till the middle of the week. So I'm giving people the grace of the week. And I think all week long you can say Happy New Year, but once it's the weekend, then I'm going to stop on that.
Okay, that is sweet. That is good. I like it. Today on Your Morning Ottawa, we are asking for your comments on when is it too late to wish someone a Happy New Year. Let us know. Give us your date and reason why. Email us at yourmorningottawa@ctv.ca. We'll be hearing from you later on in the show. We'll be right back after this short break. On your Monday. Come on in. I'm Rosie Edda.
I'm Melissa Lamb, and Will is away for today.
He is away today. It's a very cold start to your day this morning.
Absolutely.
You don't want to be caught off guard, right?
No, yeah. Temperatures right now minus 16, feels closer to minus 19, minus 20 this morning. So definitely chilly, but we saw that all weekend long. So at this point, I feel like, are we used to it? Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, it's January. You're right. You're right. It's we're getting into the thick of winter.
That's
All right, we're going to talk about your forecast, but first off, we're going to get to today's top stories. There are questions this morning about who is in charge of Venezuela after the capture of President Nicolas Maduro by the U.S.
Don't ask me who's in charge, because I'll give you an answer and it'll be very controversial.
What does that mean?
It means we're in charge.
On his way back to Washington, U.S. President Donald Trump said he may order another strike if Venezuela does not cooperate with the U.S. President Trump wants Venezuela to open up its oil industry and stop drug trafficking. Venezuela has now appointed Delcy Rodriguez as acting president. She was a senior official in Maduro's government. Debate over the future of Venezuela spilled into the streets of Ottawa as demonstrators gathered outside the U.S. Embassy, arguing the U.S. had no right to get involved.
It's an outrageous violation of Venezuela's sovereignty and the political project that's been unfolding in Venezuela for a number of years.
I am a Chilean. I saw the coup in Chile. I saw when they killed the president. So Maduro has to return to Venezuela. He is the president of Venezuela, and the Venezuelans want him back.
Organizers say they stand with the people of Venezuela in defense of their sovereignty. But some Venezuelans in the capital are cautiously optimistic about U.S. intervention in their home country.
Very glad, very happy, because we want to live with freedom.
She says economic hardship and poor treatment of Venezuelans pushed her to leave. But after hearing Maduro was extricated by the U.S. military, she says she feels some relief.
Canada's former Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland has been named Ukraine's Economic Development Advisor. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky made the announcement this morning on social media. He says Freeland has experience in attracting investment and is highly skilled at implementing economic transformation. The MP from Toronto has Ukrainian ancestry. For the third year in a row, Czechia has ended Canada's gold medal hopes at the World Junior.
Now McKenna gathers it back up. Here's Benek the other way for the Czechs. Feeds it Edric Curran moving in. Curran with a chance. Rebound Wilson from the score.
Czechia scored the go-ahead goal late in the third, then added an empty netter to win 6-4. Canada had opportunities to take control of the game, including 2 chances at a penalty shot, but they still couldn't capitalize. Canada has had a chance at a podium finish if they can beat Finland today for third place.
Ontario government employees will be back in the office 5 days a week starting today as the province ends hybrid work arrangements in place since the pandemic.
Something 50-50 or 60-40 so that they have that work-life balance and still getting the job done.
My heart's with them because it's been difficult for a lot of people after they become used to spending time in a way where sometimes they're at home, sometimes they're at work.
Roughly half of the 60,000 public service employees have been working in the office 4 days a week since October.
Dozens of people were forced out of their homes after a fire in a multi-unit high-rise building on St. Patrick's Street. Ottawa fire crews were called out to the 600 block of St. Patrick's Street yesterday afternoon. Upon arrival, firefighters spotted haze and detected high levels of carbon monoxide throughout the building. An OC Transpo bus was brought in to shelter displaced residents, and the situation was deemed under control just after 3:15 p.m.
2 people are dead after a shooting in Cornwall over the weekend. Police tape surrounds a home on Leach Drive, a residential neighborhood in the east end of the city. Investigators say when they arrived on scene Saturday, they found 3 people, all known to each other, with serious injuries. 2 people died at the scene. The 3rd adult was transported to hospital where they remain in stable condition. Police believe this shooting was isolated and there is no risk to public safety.
Great news for skaters this morning. The Rideau Canal Skateway is about to open in its entirety. The National Capital Commission says the full 7.8 kilometers of the skateway is set to open at 8 a.m. However, the NCC says the Patterson Creek area will remain closed this skating season due to rehabilitation work. Last season, the skateway opened on January 11th and closed on March 10th. And we're celebrating Pembroke's first baby of the year.
Oh, precious. Meet Noah Daniel Cameron, his parents, Savannah Sanford and Philippe Cameron, and his big brother, Harrison, welcomed the baby to the world on New Year's Day just before 1:30 in the afternoon. Look at the big smiles all around.
So sweet. The family is from Mansfield, Quebec. Little Noah coming in at 6 pounds and 2 ounces.
Perfect.
Right?
Just perfect.
Absolutely adorable. And it makes you, when you, as a parent, you see the stage and you're like, oh, I miss that stage.
I know. And their hands are covered and their feet are covered so they, they can't scratch themselves. And they're just so precious.
So precious. And so dependent on you.
Yes.
They're just so sweet.
It's true. And that little thing, like 6 pounds, right, is so demanding and takes over the whole house, runs the whole house.
Absolutely.
You all go on that baby's schedule.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But there's something about newborn cuddles that there's just nothing like that feeling in the world.
That smell.
Right? The smell is so good. Cloudy and cold to start off your morning, and then some snow on the way later on this morning. Warming up this week, though, so we won't deal with cold conditions throughout the entire work week. It will warm up by the time that we head towards the middle end of the work week. Still sitting at -16. It does feel closer to -19, -20 with that wind chill this morning. So that's where we're sitting in Ottawa. Same with in Pembroke, -14 for Kingston, -19. Around in Brockville today, -15 currently in Montreal. So it is still a little bit cloudy out there. We will see cloudy conditions when the sun wakes up this morning just after 7:30, and it will stay cloudy throughout most of the day today. Then we are expecting some snow. It looks like between 10 and 11 o'clock is when we could start to see that snow fall. It will continue into the afternoon and right through into your evening, and then kind of taper off later on this evening, but still some flurries possible into the overnight. We could see 2 up to 4 centimeters of snow on the way, so some fresh powder on the way for kids heading back to school. Great news for our ski hills, and it will stay cold today, so it's still great news for the Rideau Canal Skateway. As we head in towards the next few days, we will still see some flurries Tuesday and through Wednesday. Temps today, a high of -13, so yes, cold, a little bit below seasonal, but that's okay. By this point, we're used to the cold weather after the cold snap we saw last weekend through the weekend. -12 and through Kemptville, warmer in Trenton, -3, -2 in Kingston, so not nearly as cold down there. -9 will be the daytime high out in the valley for today. Over the next couple of days, you'll see it slowly warming up. It's still some flurries throughout the beginning of the work week. -13 for today, 2 to 4 centimeters of snow. Temps not really cooling off too much tonight, dropping to -14, so just dropping 1 degree. A relief on the way for tomorrow, -6, not so bad, fairly average for this time of the year. Some flurries possible for Tuesday. More flurries on the way for Wednesday, high of -2, slowly warming up. And then as we head into Thursday, temperatures hovering around that freezing mark. 4 degrees for Friday, 1 degree on Saturday. And we could even see a little bit of rain, from some freezing rain as we head towards the end of the work week and in through the weekend.
Weather brought to you by Manotick Place Retirement Community, a community you can call home.
And here's a look at your drive-in right now. Still collision-free, no major issues east to west. Volume starting to build a little bit this morning. As you know, people are returning back to work today, so we could see heavier volume on the roads later on this morning.
Traffic brought to you by Presler Injury Lawyers, 1-800-JUSTICE.
Coming up on Your Morning Ottawa, more on the Canadian response to the weekend strikes in Venezuela and the ouster of that country's president. That is just ahead. Here's a live look through our Skycam. It's Monday, back to work, back to school for most folks, and we will be right back after this short break. Good morning. Here are the big stories happening today on Your Morning Ottawa. There are questions this morning about who's in charge of Venezuela after the capture of President Nicolas Maduro by the U.S. Public service workers in the province will be returning to full-time office work for the first time since the start of the pandemic. And the Rideau Canal Skateway is going to open in its entirety today. Now let's check on the forecast.
Some great weather on the way for the Rideau Canal Skateway. It will be nice and cold for the ice. -13 is your daytime high for today. Right now feeling closer to -20 this morning with that wind chill. We are expecting some fresh snow on the way. Looks like between 10 and 11 o'clock this morning is when we could start to see some snow, 2 to 4 centimeters for today. Temps hovering around -14 tonight. Still some flurries on the way for Tuesday, Wednesday, but warming up. -6 for tomorrow, -2 is the high on Wednesday. On your roads this morning, here's a live look at your time saver traffic. It's still nice and easy on your roads. Volume building slightly Richmond and through Pinecrest. So if you are heading eastbound on the 417, starting to build slightly, but other than that, traffic is looking good this hour.
Former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro landed in New York City on Saturday following a middle-of-the-night operation that extricated him and his wife from their home to face charges of participating in a narco-terrorism conspiracy. Let's bring in CTV's Scott Hurst with the latest and the mixed reaction here at home. Good morning to you, Scott.
Good morning, Rosie.
Okay, so Scott, Canadians across the country came out yesterday to voice their concerns on the U.S. operation that captured former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. What are we hearing today?
Rosie, good morning. So first and foremost, Maduro will make his first appearance in a U.S. courtroom today as the Trump administration is justifying his capture on narco-terrorism charges. As you mentioned, lots of concern across the country as Canadians and Venezuelans in Canada watch all the developments with worry and concern, as many believe the U.S. may have other motives instead of helping Venezuelans achieve democracy. Canadians have seen protests and rallies pop up at cities right across the country, some denouncing the move by the U.S., condemning the U.S. strike as illegal and a violation of Venezuela's sovereignty. Supporters, however, of Venezuela have also been out waving flags and celebrating the ouster of Maduro, who many believe stole the presidency. And beyond immediate global geopolitical implications, there are also mounting concerns that this action could further worsen the Venezuelan refugee crisis, Rosie. So lots of concern within Canada, and also world reaction to the U.S. operation has been swift and sharply divided as well.
Scott, Prime Minister Mark Carney responded with a statement over the weekend, and analysts say his response was doing damage control against jeopardizing trade negotiations with the U.S. How measured will Canada need to be with Donald Trump as the situation continues to unfold?
Rosie, we've seen many countries since the U.S. president retook the White House early last year, of course, kind of deal this in the same approach with the U.S., really not trying to derail any of their own relations with the U.S. president. Prime Minister Mark Carney, in his reaction to the situation in Venezuela, is calling for a Venezuelan-led transition process and labeling, the Maduro regime as brutally oppressive and a criminal regime, saying Canada has not recognized the illegitimate regime of Maduro since it stole the 2018 election. However, as you mentioned, the Prime Minister is facing significant backlash for his response, part of it calling on all parties to respect international law, yet not mentioning the United States directly. Former Foreign Affairs Minister under Stephen Harper, Peter MacKay, calling the response slow and lethargic. Here's more from him on his reaction to the Prime Minister's
response. It glosses over entirely the fact that it was the United States that brought this about. Of greater note is the fact that it came 15 or 16 hours after the actual arrest of Maduro. This is, again, a very slow and lethargic reaction, and reflective of a foreign policy that was ambivalent, waiting to see how other countries reacted. And so I don't think it has put Canada in a particularly good place with the United States or our traditional allies.
Rosie, the Prime Minister is expected to travel to Paris today to meet with the so-called coalition of the willing Ukrainian allies pushing for a peace deal with Russia. But you can bet the situation unfolding in Venezuela will likely be top of mind on that agenda today.
And we will certainly be speaking with you further on this as we see developments occur throughout the next week and even longer than that. CTV News correspondent Scott Hurst, thank you very much.
Thanks, Rosie.
Okay, we are taking your comments. We're talking and asking you, when is it just too late to say Happy New Year? You know, is it a day or two after New Year's? Is it after you get back to work and it's a few days? We want to hear from you, and we've got some answers.
That's right. Brandy wrote in to say right after New Year's, because it does not seem to matter to people after that.
Darlene says, I think it's fine to say Happy New Year the first time you see someone in 2026, as long as it's still January.
Right.
Because I think we showed a clip earlier of Larry David, Curb Your Enthusiasm. He had this great bit, right? Like, you know, somebody saw him at the gym. They said Happy New Year. He was like, no, I'm done. I'm done. And she was like, no, it's just a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So, and the question about that was, well, if you haven't seen them, you know, the whole year, when do you say that? When do you say Happy New Year? But what if you don't see them into February or March?
That's it.
So there you go. You have to have an out, right? An end to it.
I think it's okay that everybody has a different timeline in terms of how long you could say Happy New Year.
Yeah.
And I mean, if someone says it to me next week, I'm not going to be like, it's too late. I'm going to say Happy New Year.
Yeah, that's so funny. We're going to be talking about this a little bit more. We'll hear from you later on in the show. We are asking, okay, so when is it just like, what's your cutoff to saying Happy New Year to somebody? Is it a week or two into the new year or longer? Let us know. Your Morning Ottawa at ctv.ca. Send us your comments.
And coming up on Your Morning Ottawa, a big get for the Toronto Blue Jays. That story and more when we take a look at your morning fix. Here's a live look from our Skycam on George Street this morning. A chilly start to your Monday morning with the wind chill feeling closer to -19, -20 this hour. Time now for your morning fix, and award season is officially underway. The Critics' Choice Awards took place last night, and among the big winners was Timothée Chalamet, who took home the award for Best Actor for Marty Supreme.
And lastly, I'll just say thank you to my partner of 3 years. Thank you for our foundation. I love you. I couldn't do this without you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And that's him thanking his girlfriend, Kylie Jenner. Other big winners announced were Jessie Buckley for Best Actress in Hamnet, and One Battle After Another took home Best Film. The next stop on the award season runs will be the Golden Globes on Sunday. So it is definitely award season in full swing.
It really is.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. There's some really great films that are interesting and unique, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they do, hearing the speeches.
Yeah.
Always fun.
Hearing who they think, like his girlfriend Kylie Jenner, you know, because they were kind of incognito for a long time.
Because he even said for 3 years. I was like, wait, I didn't know it was 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the Toronto Blue Jays have officially signed Japanese slugger Kazuma Okamoto. The Jays announced Sunday that they have signed the 29-year-old to a 4-year deal worth $60 million US. Okamoto was part of Japan's World Baseball Classic Championship team in 2023. He is a 6-time All-Star in Japan and has posted 248 home runs across his career. Okamoto plays first and third base. So some new sluggers added to the lineup for the Jays.
The Jays, like their purse strings are just like opening up and opening up. They've got a lot of money, and it looks like they're like, you know what? We made it to the finals, World Series, came so close. We want to get back there again.
Yeah, Game 7 and like down to the end,
I
you know. So obviously now they're like, okay, we see where we have some holes, so now we're going to fix those spots. Absolutely. Beijing's largest chocolate museum has opened its doors, showcasing nearly 50 tons of chocolate creations. So the Choco Chocolate Museum, say that 10 times, museum of sports an array of delicious decorations, including a chocolate Chinese dragon during the space into an artistic playground. So look at that. Just chocolate among chocolate among chocolate.
I mean, they're works of art. They're absolutely stunning. But then how do you keep people from like taking a bite?
Right, a little nibble.
I want a little taste too.
Could you imagine how good it would smell in there? Like the scent of all that chocolate and
Melissa.
decor, and like, oh, it just smells so nice. I wonder if it like stays on your clothes after you leave. You know, sometimes when you walk into a nice store and then you leave smelling like it after.
That's true.
You smell like chocolate all day long.
That's beautiful. I'd love to go there and take a little taste too.
Right?
Coming up in the next hour, we will hear from CTV News military analyst David Frazier about the latest on the weekend's events in Venezuela. Plus, sticking to those financial New Year's resolutions, we've got some information for you, and we have a chance to hear from the latest competitor to be eliminated from Canada's drag race, and she joins us next hour. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. Cold start to your day, minus 16, Melissa? Yeah, there you go. You're watching Your Morning Ottawa. We'll be right back. It's Monday, January 5th. Local reaction after the United States strikes Venezuela and detains the country's president.
2 people are dead after a shooting in Cornwall over the weekend.
Now McKenna gathers it back up. Here's Bannock the other way for the Czechs. Feeds it Edric Curran moving in. Curran with a chance. Rebound.
And disappointment for Team Canada at the World Juniors as they fall to Czechia in the semifinals. Your Morning Ottawa continues right now. Good morning. happy Monday, happy New Year. Come on in. I'm Rosie Edda.
I'm Melissa Lamb, and Will is away for today.
It's a cold start to the day, Melissa. I know you got the full forecast there, but first off, definitely need to bundle up.
Definitely need to dress warmly this morning. It is cold. The good news is we have some warmer temperatures on the way towards the middle end of the work week, so not cold throughout the entire week.
Okay, first off, we're going to get to today's top stories. The people of Venezuela are now bracing for what comes next following the U.S. attack on the country and capture of its leader. Nicolas Maduro is set to answer charges in court today, and late last night, President Donald Trump talking about the need to take over Venezuela.
We're going to run it, fix it. We'll have elections at the right time. But the main thing you have to fix is a broken country. There's no money. There's inflation.
He also suggested he's done, mentioning Colombia, Mexico, and Cuba as countries of concern. Debate over the future of Venezuela spilled into the streets of Ottawa as demonstrators gathered outside the U.S. Embassy, arguing the U.S. had no right to get involved.
It's an outrageous violation of Venezuela's sovereignty and the political project that's been unfolding in Venezuela for a number of years.
I am a Chilean. I saw the coup in Chile. I saw when they killed the president. So Maduro has to return to Venezuela. He is the president of Venezuela, and the Venezuelans want him back.
Organizers say they stand with the people of Venezuela in defense of their sovereignty, but some Venezuelans in the capital are cautiously optimistic about U.S. intervention in their home country.
Very glad, very happy, because we want to live with freedom.
She says economic hardship and poor treatment of Venezuelans pushed her to leave. But after hearing Maduro was extricated by the U.S. military, she says she feels some relief.
You may be seeing a bit more traffic this morning as public service workers in the province will be returning to full-time office work for the first time since the start of the pandemic, and the feelings are mixed.
As a healthcare worker, we work every day. Going back to the office, you're productive. You get up in the morning, you get out to work. It's work, right?
What's your take?
I think it's good that people work 5 days a week. Yeah.
In the office?
In the office, yeah.
There's simply not enough parking to be able to accommodate all these additional office workers, because it's not just the feds or it's not just OPS, it's also private and stuff like that.
Roughly half of the 60,000 public service employees have been working in the office 4 days a week since October. For the third straight year, Canada has been eliminated from the World Junior Championships by Czechia before the gold medal game.
Now McKenna gathers it back up. Here's Benek the other way for the Czechs. Feeds it Edric Curran moving in. Curran with a chance. Rebound, loses it, but they score!
The previous two defeats came in the quarterfinals. The final score in last night's semifinal was 6-4. Canada will take on Finland in the bronze medal game.
2 people are dead after a shooting in Cornwall over the weekend. Police tape surrounds a home on Leach Drive, a residential neighborhood in the east end of the city. Investigators say when they arrived on scene Saturday, they found 3 people, all known to each other, with serious injuries. 2 people died at the scene. The third adult was transported to hospital where they remain in stable condition. Police believe this shooting was isolated and there is no risk to public safety.
Dozens of people were forced out of their homes after a fire in a multi-unit high-rise building on St. Patrick Street. Ottawa fire crews were called out to the 600 block of St. Patrick Street yesterday afternoon. Upon arrival, firefighters spotted haze and detected high levels of carbon monoxide throughout the building. An OC Transpo bus was brought in to shelter displaced residents, and the situation was deemed under control just after 3:15 p.m.
Ontario Provincial Police say a 70-year-old woman is dead after a crash in Russell Township. Around 4 p.m. on Saturday, first responders were called to the intersection of North Russell Road and Route 200 after a 2-vehicle crash involving an SUV and a sedan. A 70-year-old woman was transported to hospital where she was pronounced dead. No other injuries were reported.
And great news for skaters this morning. The Rideau Canal Skateway is open in its entirety very shortly. The National Capital Commission says the full 7.8-kilometer stretch of the skateway is set to open at 8 a.m. this morning. However, the NCC says the Patterson Creek area will remain closed for the skating season due to the rehabilitation work. Last season, the skateway opened on January 11th and closed on March 10th. The 27th annual Ice and Snow World Show in Northeast China is set to be the largest yet.
Okay, so the theme for this year's show, which includes ice castles, giant steam trains, slides, and snow sculptures, is a fairy tale world.
And it looks like a fairy tale world. Weather permitting, the show will go on right through until mid-February. So it's kind of like our winterlude, I'm imagining. But
That's
look at
incredible. Look at that.
Wow.
Melissa.
That is stunning.
The time it must have taken to create those sculptures, it'll be really sad when it melts.
Right,
So
yeah.
folks can really get out and enjoy, especially on a day like today here.
Absolutely.
Those ice sculptures have no problem standing tall.
They love the cold weather. While some of us may not enjoy the cold weather, Mother Nature certainly does. And we do have your weather picture of the day for today. And this was a photo sent to us by Road of the Ottawa sunrise.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
Weather picture brought to you by Box Me Up. Moving, staging, renovating, just box me up.
Of course, we want to hear from you as well. Send us a weather picture and you can see it right here on the show. All you have to do, send us an email, weathershots@ctv.ca. Again, that's weathershots@ctv.ca. It will be a little bit cloudy and cold to start off your day, but then into the afternoon, not so bad for today. Temperatures -13. Normal for this time of the year is around -6 degrees. You can see currently sitting at -16 here in Ottawa. Does feel closer to -19, -20 with that wind chill in the forecast this morning. -12 in Trenton, -14 in Kingston, -19 right now in Brockville. So cold across the region to start things off. We are seeing some clouds, so even though the sun will be up shortly around 7:30 this morning, we're still going to see cloud coverage to start off your day right through until most of the afternoon today. So not a lot of sunshine in the forecast for your Monday, and then snow on the way starting between 10 and 11 o'clock this morning. That's when we're expecting some snow on the way, and we could see upwards of 2 to 4 centimeters. So quite a bit of snow on the way, great for the ski hills, and of course kids will love going back to school and be able to have some fresh snow to play at recess with all of their friends. As we head into the evening hours, we could still see some light snow on the way, kind of tapering off later on tonight, and into the overnight we will see some light flurries kind of continuing Tuesday and through Wednesday. We could still see some light scattered flurries in the forecast, but warming up as we head throughout the middle of the work week, especially by the end of the work week and into the weekend, we'll see much milder weather. So these are just the flurries that we will see continuing, kind of lingering from Tuesday and through Wednesday. Your school day forecast is back. -13 is the high for today, and again, we are expecting that snow 2 up to 4 centimeters starting late this morning, continuing right through into your evening hours. Temperatures similar across the region, -9 in Pembroke, -8 in Bancroft, -3 for Trenton, -2 in Kingston. Colder for Cornwall, Kemptville sitting at -12 for their daytime highs, -14 in Kittigan, Zibi, as well as in Mont Tremblant. So for the next few days, you'll notice temperatures really fluctuating this week. Will be from cold to warm by the end of the week. -13 today, overnight dropping to -14, so not a big change from your daytime high to your overnight low. 2 to 4 centimeters of snow on the way for today. Light scattered flurries Tuesday and through Wednesday, but slowly, gradually warming up. -6 tomorrow, -2 on Wednesday. Then Thursday's the day. Temperatures will hover around that freezing mark, 0 degrees as we head into Thursday. Warming up Friday and through Saturday. Temperatures above that freezing mark, so not great news for the Rideau Canal Skateway. However, a bit of a break from the cold snap we have seen from last weekend through this weekend. 4 degrees for Friday, 1 on Saturday. We could see some rain mixed in with some snow in through your weekend forecast.
7-day weather forecast brought to you by Davidson Hearing Aid Centers, celebrating over 80 years in family business.
Volume definitely starting to build on the roads, especially if you're heading eastbound on the 417. We're starting to see heavier volume this morning, so traffic is a little bit slow. There's a look as you head into downtown Split. It is quite heavy this morning, so we are seeing heavier volume, but still collision free. A stunning series of events over the weekend. In international headlines, the U.S. military attacked Venezuela, detaining the country's leader as well as his wife. Locally, a large protest convened downtown and outside the U.S. Embassy. Organizers say they stand with the people of Venezuela in defense of their sovereignty. But some Venezuelans in the capital are cautiously optimistic about U.S. intervention in their home country. For more on this story and what we saw unfold over the weekend, let's bring in David Fraser. He is a military analyst for CTV News. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Melissa. Good to be with you.
Okay, let's first talk about your reaction onto what happened in Venezuela over the weekend.
Well, it was truly surprising, and Trump 2.0 unplugged has certainly moved up to a level none of us would have ever considered. Based on the fact that he talked about his disagreement with foreign interference. And what does he do? He goes and abducts a country leader and his wife. So that is truly stunning. The military operation that took place was absolutely flawless in its planning and execution. And you've got to give the Americans credit for that. But the real question is what happens today and every day afterwards for Venezuela and for the United States. Those are the big questions. The hard part is behind us. The really complicated stuff is ahead of us.
So the U.S. says it will run Venezuela for now. What do we think we'll see when it comes to the management of the country?
Well, another great question, because, for a couple of days now, those questions have been posed to the Secretary of State, to the President, and they've yet to come up with any issues, any details, including, the Vice President who was just sworn in today in Venezuela. Even they're probably wondering the same question, because they've been told, as long as you cooperate, bad things won't happen to you. But it really is undetermined how this is going to happen when you don't have boots on the ground. And secondly is, how are the oil companies going to play into this? And they've been mute on this too. So the United States has got a lot of questions after the president announced that they were going to do it.
So what are some of the long-term potential consequences we could see because of all of this?
Well, this all goes back to, Trump's fascination with the Monroe Doctrine, where in fact it's about Western Hemisphere, dominance. He said that, when he was getting elected. He's also alluded that he wanted to take Greenland. We saw the tweet out from the Deputy Chief of Staff's wife. This really speaks to where does Trump sees, American influence. And it's less about drugs and it's more about resources. As the president said, resources are tied to national security. So we got to see what happens with the Monroe Doctrine and what he does to places like Colombia, Cuba, Greenland, and other countries that he doesn't like.
Let's talk a little bit as well about Congress and the Senate. They're saying they were involved in this decision-making process. So what do you kind of think about all of that?
Well, if I was an American, I'd be wondering what happened to the Constitution, the separation of powers, the balance and the checks and balances and whatnot, because in this particular case, and Rubio made a big point of it, U.S. has not declared war on Venezuela because that's a congressional responsibility. The Congress weren't even informed about this at all. So again, their whole democracy and their constitution seems to be put off into the side while Trump and the White House decides what happens to the country. So, Congress is going to start yelling, but fundamentally, since Trump has taken over, they've been absolutely irrelevant to the running of this country.
Let's go back to today. Maduro is expected to appear in court and the U.S. What else will we be monitoring today and throughout the rest of the week?
Well, now the legal battle begins. Does the United States have the legal right to do this? And, on the Department of Justice, who have brought these criminal charges against Maduro and his wife, and they're long-standing charges, it'll be up to them to prove that how they've gone about taking them is legal. So we'll be seeing what the defense side, uses as their opening arguments of, how do you abduct a leader from their own country, and how can that be, deemed as legal? So we'll be looking for that, looking for what other people are going to be, arrested and indicted for this, because, you've taken out the despot at the top, but the government, the apparatus for Maduro is still in place. So the question is, how does that all play out too? So there's going to be happening in two courts here. One is in Venezuela, and one is in New York. So it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds this week. It's going to be an exciting week.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, David, for joining us today.
Melissa, thank you.
And coming up on Your Morning Ottawa, new trade rules are in effect that will remove some interprovincial trade barriers. We learn more about this and what this could mean for you coming up. Plus, making a financial New Year's resolution and trying to stick to it. That's coming up in our Money Monday segment. Our guest is standing by in the Your Morning Ottawa Lazy Boy Lounge. Here's a live look for Centennial Glass Sky Cam this morning. A beautiful start to your Monday. Still cold. Bit of a cold snap still moving through the city. Feels like minus 20 with the wind chill.
Welcome back. We all want to wake up on December 31st, 2026 and know that we followed through with at least one resolution. And with a few simple steps, that can be possible. Joining us today is Mark Rouleau from Doyle Saluski. Good morning to you, Mark.
Good morning and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too. We're talking about 5 financial resolutions for 2026.
The most popular ones, right? We all want to get healthier. So you're talking about physical health, mental health, financial health. So those are the top 3. They come back all the time for a good reason, because it's good to be healthier.
Absolutely.
So why not make good financial resolutions for 26? And we're just 5 days in. People say, well, it's too late. It's not too late. It's never too late.
No, that's
and
so
that
true.
feeling, I love that intro, because the December 31st, 2026, 12 months from now, that's your target. It's a long way away. So let's try to make it simple so we can actually get there. Let's put some stuff in place now.
Okay.
So make sure we feel really good in December.
Okay, so you got 5 resolutions for us. So
Right.
Let's get to the first one here. Prioritize stability over perfection.
Perfection has to be my least favorite word. There's no such thing. I mean, you're first of all dealing with a moving target. Budgeting, prioritizing, financial stuff. A lot of people just aren't comfortable with it. It's overwhelming. And again, it's a moving target because your life changes. Life happens.
Yeah.
I talk about the financial selfie a lot. The financial selfie is just taking a picture of what your cash flow is, getting an idea of what your assets are, but also the debt side. The debt side is really important, because that side of the balance sheet gets ignored a lot because of all these other things, distractions in your life. But if you really prioritize debt, meaning, what do I mean by that? Let's be specific here. Let's say, take your statements out, get online, look at what you paid in interest last year.
You got to face it.
What are
You
your
gotta
current
look at it.
balances? The
Yeah.
average Canadian today has just under $5,000 of credit card debt. Doesn't seem like a lot.
Okay.
But the math on that is at 20% interest, that's $1,000 of interest you're going to pay in 2026 if you don't attack it. So the stability over perfection means look at your situation, customize it for yourself, and let's make a plan here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next up, what do we have here? Build breathing room. Even small steps count.
Right. So go back to that example. So you're looking at a $5,000 debt. Let's take that. The average Canadian has that credit card debt. So if you just look at that small step, if you take a look and say, how much is it going to take to pay that off? With interest over the year, because you still have interest to pay, let's say it's about $6,000 total, right? So it's $500 a month. The math is simple. 6,000 divided by 12. I love simple math. $500 a month. So look at your cash flows. Can I afford this? Because if I get that paid off in December 2026, and I've got no interest to pay, the $1,000, I'm going to give you another good comparative. The inflation rate right now on food alone, they say people are going to pay on average, families are going to pay about $1,000 more for food in 2026. Well, if you have $1,000 less of interest to pay on your debt, that's money in your pocket. So this is going to help you get through those hard times and pay for those groceries. Is paying down the debt is going to be to your benefit 100%.
Next up, take control of debt before it takes control of you.
Again, we just wound that up, right? So back to step 1, if you go back and look at your budget, look at your debt and prioritize them in order of interest. How much are you paying on? Number 1 interest rates are usually credit cards. That's an easy one to take control of. So the debt, to me, is the most important part. And if you're going to make that resolution and make it pay off, that's the easiest one to target. Low-hanging fruit, right? Make it easy on yourself.
Exactly.
This shouldn't be hard.
Yeah, it
a lot of people get overwhelmed because it's complicated. But if you make it simple, you'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next up here, rework the budget to reflect today's reality.
We talked about it before. So the world is always changing. If you make a resolution on January 5th, you might get to the end of March or April, say, man, I'm way off base here. Or something happened. I had a major car repair. That's okay. Like, give yourself a break. If you want to make sure these things work, goals are meant to be flexible. They're not hard. Don't get down on yourself. Like, make sure you have the proper functioning budget for yourself. And it's always going back and reviewing it and making sure that the budget reflects your current situation. So don't be shy about that. If you make that goal, if you start paying down that debt, reward yourself. Buy yourself a little something, or have a sit down with somebody, or do something that you really planned on doing that you didn't really have time for or money for. Now you might have that opportunity to do it. So again, reward yourself, but adjust if you need, because again, life changes.
5 financial resolutions for the new year with Mark Rouleau from Doyle Saluski. Thank you so much, Mark.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Melissa.
With the new year comes new interprovincial trade rules. The Prime Minister promised to remove barriers to interprovincial trade during last year's federal election. The new rules went into effect on New Year's Day, and here to tell us more about what it means for you is Marvin Ryder, a business professor at the DeGroote School of Business at McMaster University. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, let's first talk about some potential economic benefits to these changes that we're seeing.
Well, let's start first, if you don't mind, with the rules that came in place in January 1. Mark Carney got elected, and because he's an economist in the background, he was quite concerned about these barriers between the provinces and also between the provinces and the federal government. So a piece of legislation was passed, which came into effect on January 1st, which basically said that the federal government is going to recognize all the provincial standards. There aren't going to be two sets of standards. Now that's great news for people if they're trying to be professionals and move from one province to another. Oh, do my credentials meet the federal rules? Do my credentials meet the provincial rules? Good news, if you meet the province, you now meet the federal criteria. But that's not the big trade barrier. The bigger trade barriers are erected between the provinces themselves, not between the province and the federal government, but between one province and another. There are supposed to be a diminishing of those barriers midway through this year, in June of this year. And I say it a bit skeptically because we have talked about reducing these barriers for the better part of 40 years. And each time when we get close to doing it, there's always some pushback, clawback. Well, we'll be free trade here, but we won't be free trade there. The biggest of these, of course, is alcohol. It's easy for me to say, let's have free trade, but in Ontario, people want us to have a preference for Ontario wines, say over BC wines. We'll see what happens. But if that comes to pass, if we can truly drop the interprovincial trade barriers and have free trade between the provinces, it's going to be a big year. So the first one that just took place, good news if you're a professional, but doesn't touch the average consumer. The second one, which would be in June, could have big implications as you're out shopping.
Are there any practical changes that Canadians could expect to see from this one we just saw on January 1st?
Well, I have to tie this into, of course, what's going on south of the border. Mr. Trump was elected and then inaugurated just about a year ago. It was on January 20th of last year. And instantly started his I Love Tariff campaign and putting tariffs on Canadian goods. As a result, Canadian shoppers became much more interested in Canadian products. And that's when we saw this disparity about the interprovincial trade barriers. So presumably, if the provinces continue to work towards dropping those interprovincial trade barriers, you'll see two things if you're a consumer. You'll see more assortment of Canadian products in the stores, and you should see better prices on those Canadian products in the stores. So that's what the average consumer is going to notice. Nothing that they have to do, but they should notice some changes as 2026 rolls out.
Can you tell us about changes as well for small businesses and how this legislation will impact them?
Yeah, well, the big thing is that small businesses feel unempowered, if you will, or disenfranchised through all of this. A big company, and I shouldn't drop names, but if you're a multinational brewery kind of a thing, well, you can play in all the provinces and, oh, this beer is made in Ontario, this beer is made in British Columbia, and there's no problem for you. But if you're a craft brewer, if you're a small winery that based just in one region, these barriers can have huge impact because suddenly it's harder to get listed in another place. You're also going to maybe pay some shipping costs that you wouldn't otherwise pay and have some other barriers that way. So getting rid of these things should allow smaller businesses, at a time, by the way, that they're feeling hard-pressed by some of those American tariffs, what have you, it should allow them this flexibility to get their product listed across the country.
Thanks, Marvin, for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Coming up next here on Your Morning Ottawa, we meet one of the local competitors on Canada's drag race. That's just ahead. Here's a live look from our Skycam on George Street this morning. Sun trying to wake up this morning. It should be up very shortly. Still cold, minus 16 feels closer to minus 20 with the wind chill.
Happy New Year. I'm Rosie, and welcome to the show.
I'm Melissa Lamb, and Will is away for today.
And we are talking about very cold temperatures, but we're going to get to that in just a moment there. But you definitely want your parka and the scarf.
Absolutely. Dress warmly this morning. It's chilly out there. The good news is warmer temps on the way and some snow, too.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. But first off, your top stories. There are questions this morning about who is in charge of Venezuela after the capture of President Nicolas Maduro by the U.S.
Don't ask me who's in charge because I'll give you an answer and it'll be very controversial.
What does that mean?
It means we're in charge.
On his way back to Washington, U.S. President Donald Trump said he may order another strike if Venezuela doesn't cooperate with the U.S. President Trump wants Venezuela to open up its oil industry and stop drug trafficking. Venezuela has now appointed Delcy Rodriguez as acting president. She was a senior official in Maduro's government. Debate over the future of Venezuela spilled into the streets of Ottawa as demonstrators gathered outside the U.S. Embassy, arguing the U.S. had no right to get involved.
It's an outrageous violation of Venezuela's sovereignty and the political project that's been unfolding in Venezuela for a number of years.
I am a Chilean. I saw the coup in Chile. I saw when they killed the president. So Maduro has to return to Venezuela. He is the president of Venezuela, and the Venezuelans want him back.
Organizers say they stand with the people of Venezuela in defense of their sovereignty, but some Venezuelans in the capital are cautiously optimistic about U.S. intervention in their home country.
Very glad, very happy, because we want to live with freedom.
She says economic hardship and poor treatment of Venezuelans pushed her to leave. But after hearing Maduro was extricated by the U.S. military, she says she feels some relief.
Canada's former Deputy Prime Minister, Chrystia Freeland, has been named Ukraine's Economic Development Advisor. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky made the announcement this morning on social media. He says Freeland has experience in attracting investment and is highly skilled at implementing economic transformation. The MP from Toronto has Ukrainian ancestry. For the third year in a row, Czechia has ended Canada's gold medal hopes at the World Juniors.
Now McKenna gathers it back up. Here's Benek the other way for the Czechs. Feeds it Edric Curran moving in. Curran with a chance. Rebound Listen from the score. With 1:14.
Czechia scored the go-ahead goal late in the third period, then added an empty netter to win 6-4. Canada had opportunities to take control of the game, including 2 chances at a penalty shot, but they still couldn't capitalize. Canada has had a chance at a podium finish if they can beat Finland today for third place.
2 people are dead after a shooting in Cornwall over the weekend. Police tape surrounds a home on Leach Drive, a residential neighborhood in the east end of the city. Investigators say when they arrived on scene Saturday, they found 3 people, all known to each other, with serious injuries. 2 people died at the scene. The 3rd adult was transported to hospital where they remain in stable condition. Police believe this shooting was isolated and there is no risk to public safety.
Great news for skaters this morning. The Rideau Canal Skateway is about to open in its entirety. The National Capital Commission says the full 7.8 kilometers of the skateway is set to open at 8 a.m. However, the NCC says the Patterson Creek area will remain closed to skating this season due to rehabilitation work. Last season, the skateway opened on January 11th and closed on March 10th.
The city of Cartagena in Colombia has started replacing its iconic horse-drawn carriages with electric ones.
The move has come after years of protests by animal rights activists. The new carriages are built to look like traditional horse-drawn ones, but they're powered by batteries and have steering wheels instead of reins. Cartagena is the first major world tourist destination to replace horse buggies with electric carriages. You may remember that Montreal actually banned its horse-drawn carriages back in 2019.
Yeah, I remember that. I do remember that after some videos surfaced of horses looking really just stressed and affected. So yeah, they banned it. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, our forecast today, it's going to be cold, which is great news for the Rideau Canal Skateway. I'm sure many people are looking to get out today and skate that entire stretch of the Rideau Canal. A little bit cloudy this morning and cold as well. Snow then late this morning into your afternoon. This week, we will see milder temperatures on the way, so it won't be great for the skateway as we head towards Friday and through the weekend as we see some warmer weather. So if you're looking to get out on the skateway, I would suggest today or the beginning of the work week. Minus 17 here this morning. It does feel closer to minus 20 with that wind chill here in the city. Cloudy conditions still, and we are expecting that snow looks like happening between 10 and 11 o'clock this morning. Periods of snow throughout the day ahead, around 2 up to 4 centimeters of snow on the way for this afternoon. It will end late this evening into your overnight. Still some flurries possible as we head into Tuesday, and then through Wednesday we could see more flurries on the way over the next few days, and then we could even see some rain by the end of the work week as temperatures do warm up. So for kids heading off to recess today, cold for recess, but you will have some fresh snow this morning and again later on this afternoon as we are waiting for that snow to start falling around 10 a.m. Temperatures today hovering around minus 13 into the afternoon. So it is a little bit of a cold day in the forecast for us. Similar across the region, slightly warmer in Kingston, Trenton sitting at minus 3 and minus 2 for your daytime highs. Minus 14 for Kittigan to be minus 13 for us here in the city. Minus 14 is the low, 2 to 4 centimeters today. Flurries Tuesday and through Wednesday, and you can see temperatures really fluctuating this week. Still a little bit cold for tomorrow. Minus 6 is the high. However, it won't feel as bad because we've dealt with very cold conditions over the last few days. Minus 2 on Wednesday, then mild Thursday and through Friday with a daytime high of 4 degrees.
Expect some slowdowns between the Split and Nicholas due to a collision on the westbound Queensway at Nicholas. We've got moderate delays on the 174 from Place d'Orleans to Jeanne d'Arc. So you just want to take your time out there. We're not looking at major slowdowns, but it's always good as you start the work week to give yourself plenty of time to get from point A to point B.
Traffic brought to you by Presler Injury Lawyers. 1-800-JUSTICE.
And a spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the latest episode of Canada's Drag Race and are planning to tune in, maybe change the channel and join us in about 5 minutes or so because we are going to give away a major spoiler from last week's episode.
Saltina Shaker, thank you for peppering our season with your star quality. Always. Now sashay away. Rats.
Sadly, it's the end of the road for Drag Race local performer Saltina Shaker. Saltina was eliminated in episode 7 of the latest season, but we are so lucky because Saltina joins us this morning to talk about her experience on the show. It looks phenomenal and so sad to see you go, but so nice to have you home. Tell us about what this experience was like.
Oh my gosh, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It means so much being here for Ottawa, representing Ottawa, and in fact, that's my biggest goal and my biggest triumph, I think. The experience itself was absolutely phenomenal. I was able to, I guess, experience new things about myself that you don't know because you're being watched, right? You're watching yourself for the first time, and that's a beautiful experience in itself. Being able to grow and just find new things that you just love.
Were there special moments that really stand out to you that really made this season so special?
Yes, the cast. I'm going to be completely honest. The cast was absolutely beautiful. Being able to be friends with everybody before going in, it creates a fantastic dynamic, and that was absolutely showed in the season.
So what will you be taking away with you from the show moving in through life now?
Oh, so much. I need to give myself time to rest.
Yes, I bet.
Time management definitely for me. but also just continue being who I am. You know, on there you see the people loving you. You see the people just really embracing who you are. And you don't need that, but God, is it lovely, you know?
Let's talk about the lip sync battle because you did really well in that.
Thank you. Yes. Oh my gosh.
What was that like for you?
It was so much fun. I was able to have different songs, and for me as a performer, being able to embody different artistries, different beats, all that fun stuff. There I am.
I love it. I'm watching because I haven't seen all the latest episodes. I'm a little behind, but that's okay. I'll get to catch up. What was this like being able to perform?
Oh, being able to perform, it's something just takes over you. If you're a performer, the art just takes over and you're just able to be whatever you want to be in that moment. And yeah, you just embody what you want to embody.
Do you have like an alter ego that you go into?
You know what? Saltina is definitely myself. Saltina is definitely myself.
I love that.
You can have caricatures of who you think you want to be in drag and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, it is you. You are the source, and you're able to just kind of like light up wherever you want to light up.
Oh, I love that. We need to know what's up next for you. You talked about rest.
Yes, rest, definitely.
After you get a little rest.
A little bit of sleep.
What do you have planned next?
So I love Ottawa, and I actually have an event production company with my partner, Sunshine Glitter Child, Eric Vance.
Yeah.
And our goal is to make Ottawa entertaining. Make Ottawa, just give some love to the people who want to enjoy drag. And if they enjoyed it on the show, you are going to absolutely love it in person. So that's what I would say. I want to...
Do you have any shows up next that people can come and catch you?
Yes, actually, with my season 6 sister, Sammy Lingerie.
I love that.
On January 24th.
Okay.
Yeah, so at House of Targ.
House of Targ.
Tickets aren't available yet, but they will be, and you do not want to miss that show.
Oh my goodness, sounds like a great time. And how can people follow along with your journey? Because I know you post so much online, and it's such a pleasure to follow you online.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. At Saltina Shaker, salt in a shaker, all one word. That's the pun.
I love it. Salt in a shaker. That's really good. I've never heard that before.
Yes, and TikTok as well. And I think that's pretty much YouTube. I'm Saltina Streams. I'm going to start a YouTube channel as well, so keep an eye out for that.
Fun. And I need to know, as someone who loves costume, how long does it take you to get ready?
Oh my God, it depends on the outfit.
Okay, this one's
a little, it takes a
it.
little bit. But I would say comfortably, I love 3 hours.
I
love it. I love it. It's a good meditative experience, honestly.
You take your time to get ready. You don't have to rush. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you.
And again, Salt in a Shaker, Saltina Shaker online to follow all of her fun adventures. Thanks again for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Rosie.
Saltina looking beautiful. Coming up next on Your Morning Ottawa. The co-founder of The Honest Talk joins us to reveal their plans for the 2026 season and beyond. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Skycam. You're watching Your Morning Ottawa.
Hello there, welcome inside the Sports Center newsroom. Adam Scully here with your must-see moment from Sunday. And for it, we're heading to Los Angeles. Cardinals and the Rams, second quarter, 4th and goal. Matt Stafford throws one up for Puka Nacua. Leaps up and makes the spectacular one-handed catch for the touchdown. Nacua with the defender all over him, goes up and snags it out of midair. That highlight reel play is your must-see moment from Sunday. Monday on TSN, you can see Canada battle Finland for the bronze medal at the World Junior Hockey Championship. Pre-game coverage starts at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
Okay, so we've been asking the question all morning long. When is the right time to stop saying Happy New Year?
That's
so
right.
How long can you extend that greeting for?
Yeah, I was saying this week, I think it's, welcome to say it for like the first week back to work, because many people were off over the last few days, and it's kind of like the first week you may not see people at the beginning, you may see them towards the end of the week because some people are still off. So I think, it's fair game to say it throughout the entire week. I'll probably stop saying it come this weekend. For me, that's when I close the chapter. However, if someone next week says Happy New Year to me, I'm not going to say, no, it's over. Like, don't say it. I'm going to say Happy New Year to you as well.
You're not just going to walk away. But as I understand it, now you were on the radio with Bill Carroll on 580 CFRA, and he says today is the day.
Today is
That's
the day.
It.
He's giving one day and then he's done, and then no more Happy New Year after that.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. We'll be taking your responses coming up a little bit later, but right now, really have the pleasure here joining us today are Jen Stewart and Catherine Clark. They are the co-founders of The Honest Talk, Canada's fastest growing forum for women, featuring a national podcast, media site, and live event series. Now, Catherine Clark will be here with us us, and she's going to talk about what's on the horizon for the Honest Talk in 2026 and how they continue to expand their impactful conversations around leadership and connection. Good morning to you, Catherine.
Well, hi, Rosie. How's it going?
It's going so well. I mean, this is
Awesome.
wonderful to talk to you as we start the new year, 2026. The Honest Talk is this kind of podcast that keeps growing and growing in popularity for the content of the podcast, really centering women and talking about everything honestly. Can you talk about how the Honest Talk has been growing and how has it been received in the past few months and now heading into the new year?
Well, first of all, Rosie, I just want to say a big thank you to you because you were an important part of our Women's Summit, our second annual Women's Summit, which we held just this past fall. You and your team at Bell have been integral to the success of the organization, but you were a wonderful host for one of our health panels. And it was kind of, that is an epitome of what we are at the Honest Talk. What we're really trying to do is to provide women with the information that they need to lead better, healthier, happier lives. We do that through the podcast that you mentioned, where we have these conversations with remarkable women who've achieved incredible things. Then we have our live events, which you were a part of and which many in the Ottawa region were a part of. We're expanding that nationally in 2026. And of course, we have the Honest Talk platform, our media site itself, which is updated daily with content for women. So our aim is really just to ensure that we create a community for women. And we are really proud to say that we're the largest forum for women, the fastest growing forum for women in Canada.
Well, it was a pleasure to be part of that Women's Summit right here in Ottawa a few months ago. It was empowering, it was energizing, and women came from really around the country to take part, to take in that event. Now, what can listeners expect in the coming weeks in regards to interviews and your podcast?
Yeah, we've got some great interviews lined up for the next few weeks. The podcast drops new episodes every 2 weeks. Our plan is to start 2026 with a look at women's finances. So we're going to be talking with money expert Melissa Leong, who is also part of our Women's Summit. And she is going to talk about the things that women need to know, the tips and tricks to keep in mind for managing your money in 2026. Because we are seeing that women are increasingly the power brokers when it comes to governing how money is spent, even in these tricky economic times. So that's one of them. We're also going to be speaking with General Jenny Carignan, who's the first female Chief of Defense Staff, a really extraordinary person in her own right. And we have a whole bunch of other podcast interviews coming up. And we also had a great chat with Indigenous Services Minister Mandy Galmasti, who has an incredible story, including having had her first child when she was a young teenager, and she has gone on to become a sitting cabinet minister in the federal government. So some great conversations coming up. Plus, we're launching our events nationally too. So we're pretty excited about that.
We're very excited here at CTV as well. Catherine Clark, it's such a pleasure to talk to you here. I will no doubt see you again in person in the future. Much success to you. Catherine Clark, one of the co-founders of The Honest Talk. The Honest Talk podcast is now out on iHeartRadio. Thank you very much, Catherine, and all the best in 2026.
And to you, Rosie.
All right. That's such a thrill to talk to Catherine. We have so much more coming up on the show. It is 7:53 on your Monday morning. Your Morning Ottawa will be right back.
Our milestone celebrations for today. We're going to start off with a happy 5th birthday, and this is going out to Mavis. This is with love from Grandma, Papa, Uncle Matthew, Auntie Emma, Mommy, Daddy, Maxime, and Madison. We love you to the moon and back. We also have a happy 9th birthday. This is going out to Michaela. Lots of love from Mommy and Daddy. And of course, if you have a milestone, celebrate it with us. Send your birthday announcements for kids turning 13 years old or younger. And for those turning 100 years or more, we also do wedding anniversaries for those celebrating 50 years or more. All you have to do is send us an email, your morning Ottawa milestones at ctv.ca, and we'll be sure to get your announcement on the air. Here's a live look through our Skycam this morning. We are waiting for some snow to start within the next couple of hours. 2 to 4 centimeters of fresh powder on the way. A high of -13 this afternoon.
It's Monday, January 5th. Local reaction after the United States strikes Venezuela and detains the country's president.
2 people are dead after a shooting in Cornwall over the weekend.
Now McKenna gathers it back up. Here's Benek the other way for the Czechs. Feeds it Edric Curran moving in. Curran with a chance. Rebound Wilson from the score.
And disappointment from Team Canada at the World Juniors as they fall to Czechia in the semifinals. Your Morning Ottawa continues right now. Good morning. Happy Monday. Come on in. I'm Rosie Edda.
I'm Melissa Lamb, and Will is away for today.
And we can say Happy New Year.
Yes.
And check out the canal. That's, look at that. I mean, it's going to be open in its entirety.
Right now.
It's open right now. It's been open for 2 minutes. 7.8 kilometers, Melissa, all
entire
open.
Stretch. So exciting. I'm sure many people heading back to work like, hey, I have a new mode of transportation now to head back to work. I can skate my way to the office, which is exciting to see. And already we've seen so many people out, using the facility. So it's just amazing that the full length is open right now. Just a couple minutes ago, it opened in its entirety.
That is very good news indeed. The people of Venezuela are bracing for what comes next following the U.S. attack on the country and capture of its leader. Nicolas Maduro is set to answer charges in court today, and late last night, President Donald Trump talking about the need to take over Venezuela.
We're going to run it, fix it. We'll have elections at the right time. But the main thing you have to fix is a broken country. There's no money. There's inflation.
He also suggested he's not done, mentioning Colombia, Mexico, and Cuba as countries of concern. Debate over the future of Venezuela spilled into the streets of Ottawa as demonstrators gathered outside the U.S. Embassy, arguing the U.S. had no right to get involved.
It's an outrageous violation of Venezuela's sovereignty and the political project that's been unfolding in Venezuela for a number of years.
I am a Chilean. I saw the coup in Chile. I saw when they killed the president. So Maduro has to return to Venezuela. He is the president of Venezuela, and the Venezuelans want him back.
Organizers say they stand with the people of Venezuela in defense of their sovereignty, but some Venezuelans in the capital are cautiously optimistic about U.S. intervention in their home country.
Very glad, very happy, because we want to live with freedom.
She says economic hardship and poor treatment of Venezuelans pushed her to leave. But after hearing Maduro was extricated by the U.S. military, she says she feels some relief.
You may be seeing a bit more traffic this morning as public service workers in the province will be returning to full-time office work for the first time since the start of the pandemic, and feelings are mixed.
As a healthcare worker, we work every day. Going back to the office, you're productive. You get up in the morning, you get out to work. It's work, right?
What's your take?
I think it's good that people work 5 days a week. Yeah.
In the office?
In the office, yeah.
There's simply not enough parking to be able to accommodate all these additional office workers, because it's not just the feds or it's not just OPS, it's also private and stuff like that.
Roughly half of the 60,000 public service employees have been working in the office 4 days a week since October. For the third straight year, Canada has been eliminated from the World Junior Championships by Czechia before the gold medal game.
Now McKenna gathers it back up. Here's Benek the other way for the Czechs. Feeds it Edric Curran moving in. Curran with a chance. Rebound Wilson from the score. With 1:14 to go, the Czechs have retaken the lead.
The previous two defeats came in the quarterfinals. The final score in last night's semifinal was 6-4. Canada will take on Finland in the bronze medal game.
2 people are dead after a shooting in Cornwall over the weekend. Police tape surrounds a home on Leach Drive, a residential neighborhood in the east end of the city. Investigators say when they arrived on scene Saturday, they found 3 people, all known to each other, with serious injuries. 2 people died at the scene. The 3rd adult was transported to hospital where they remain in stable condition. Police believe this shooting was isolated and there is no risk to public safety.
Dozens of people were forced out of their homes after a fire in a multi-unit high-rise building on St. Patrick's Street. Ottawa fire crews were called to the 600 block of the St. Patrick Street yesterday afternoon. Upon arrival, firefighters spotted haze and detected high levels of carbon monoxide throughout the building. An OC Transpo bus was brought in for shelter, displaced residents, and the situation was deemed under control just after 3:15 p.m.
Ontario Provincial Police say a 70-year-old woman is dead after a crash in Russell Township. Around 4 p.m. on Saturday, first responders were called to the intersection of North Russell Road and Route 200 after a 2-vehicle crash involving an SUV and a sedan. A 70-year-old woman was transported to hospital where she was pronounced dead. No other injuries were reported.
And great news for skaters this morning. The Rideau Canal Skateway is open in its entirety. The National Capital Commission says the full 7.8-kilometer stretch of the skateway is now open. It opened at 8 a.m. However, the NCC says the Patterson Creek area will remain closed this skating season due to rehabilitation work. Last season, the skateway opened on January 11th and closed on March 10th. As some people start their New Year's resolutions, this surfer has finished his.
Matt from California set a goal last January to catch 365 waves, 1 for each day of the year. He set out to make the most of each of his days after he was diagnosed with brain cancer.
And with his family by his side, Matt not only reached his goal, he exceeded it by surfing more than 1,000 waves.
Wow.
Incredible.
Tripling that goal.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Oh, good for him.
What a journey. Absolutely. Well, won't be any surfing anyway. It's more like skating on some fresh ice here in the city. It's been cold. Last week we saw this cold snap. It continued in through the weekend. And it continues into today. However, the good news is relief on the way for some as we will see milder conditions towards the end of the work week. So still a little chilly out there right now this morning. We're sitting at -16. We are starting to see some sunshine peek through those clouds. Does still feel closer to -20 this morning. So it is still a very cold start to your day. You need to dress warmly. However, relief on the way throughout the middle of the work week. Not great news for the canal, though. -15 currently in Pembroke, -11 in Trenton, -13 in Kingston, -14 currently in Montreal. So we are seeing a mix of sun and cloud to start off their day. Mainly cloudy skies out there this morning over the next few hours, then some snow. Looks like it'll start between 10 and 11 o'clock this morning. We're expecting periods of light snow throughout the day ahead, 2 upwards of 4 centimeters. So continuing to snow later on this afternoon into your evening. It will then begin to taper on off tonight, and still some flurries possible overnight tonight, in through your day tomorrow and right through into your day on Wednesday as well. But we could even see some rain as we head towards the end of the work week, and that's because temperatures cold this morning, but milder as we head towards Wednesday and in through the end of the work week. -13 is your daytime high for us here in the city, -12 in Kempville, -8 in Brockville. Warmer for Trenton, Kingston sitting at -3 and -2 for your daytime highs. -9 out in the valley, so even slightly warmer in the valley today than it will be here in Ottawa. -14 is the low for tonight, so temperatures will pretty much hold steady this afternoon and through the overnight. 2 to 4 centimeters of fresh snow tapering off into the overnight. Tomorrow and through Wednesday, flurries possible, and temperatures really fluctuating this week and kind of all over the map. Still great news for the canal. Tuesday and through Wednesday, temperatures still below that freezing mark with highs of -6 and -2, but much warmer for us. -6 is fairly normal for this time of the year. As we head towards the middle end of the work week, it's going to warm up quite a bit, especially Friday and through Saturday. Temperatures above that freezing mark, reaching highs of 4 degrees and 1 degree for Friday, Saturday. We could even see a little bit of wet weather on the way. So not great news for the canal towards the end of the work week. So make sure you get your skating in today and throughout the next few days. On your roads this morning, okay, we do have a number of collisions to report out there this morning, and that is because heavy volume on your roads. People are back at work. There is a collision on the westbound lanes of 417 at the Nicholas off-ramp. We also have a collision Blackburn Hamlet bypass westbound is reduced to 1 lane at Innes Road. March Road southbound reduced to 1 lane at Carling and Tarrant Road due to collision as well. So heavy volume as well on the Queensway east to west. We are seeing bumper-to-bumper traffic this morning, so it is quite slow out there on your roads this hour. If one of your New Year's resolutions was to read more, well, we are going to give you the top books you should check out at the Ottawa Library. Our guests are standing by in the Your Morning Ottawa Lazy Boy Lounge. Here's a live look at our Centennial Glass Sky Cam this morning. It's a bit of a gray day, not a lot of sunshine out there right now. It is 8:11, temperatures feeling closer to -20.
Today's snow report brought to you by Centre Volage. Rediscover the new Volage.
And here's your ski report for today over at Volage. No fresh snow right now, but they will get 2 to 4 centimeters later on today. And all of their lifts are open. They also have 7 runs open. Over at Camp Fortune, 4 of their lifts are open with 11 runs. You also have 11 runs over at Edelweiss. Mount Cascade, they have 12 of their 21 runs open, and all their lifts are open at Calabogie Peaks.
Hi, I'm Andre here at Centre Volage. I invite you to come enjoy our 24 trails, including alpine touring, snowshoeing, and fat biking. Centre Volage, Wakefield's playground.
For anyone hoping to stick to their reading New Year's resolution, the Ottawa Public Library joining us this morning with books that you should be putting on our radar. Beth is joining us this morning with some great books that you should be checking out. Good morning to you.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us. And of course, these are all from the library, which is so great because it's accessible for everybody to, be able to take out these books.
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's start with the kids. We're going to show some top books for the kids that should be on their radar this year.
So I have one middle grade graphic novel called Sugar Shack.
Cute.
This is the 3rd installment in the Peapod Farm series.
Ooh.
Really great, brightly colored, vivid images in this book, written and illustrated by Lucy Knisley.
Okay.
And it's all about the main character, Jen, who has moved from the big city to the farm. And she did not want to.
Okay.
She has to do so many chores now. Yeah. She's now living with a stepdad and stepsisters. So some really fun hijinks that she gets up to, including opening a sugar shack.
Oh, fun.
Yeah,
also
so great for winter into spring.
Me of a comic book style.
Comic book style,
too.
really popular with kids, especially with reluctant readers. If you have a kid who says they don't like reading, try a graphic novel.
And lots of pictures which kids love as well.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to our teens.
Sure, I have teen for sure in this category. This is grade 9 and up. It's called The Scammer by Tiffany D. Jackson, quickly becoming one of my favorite authors. Really fast-paced thrillers. This one is the latest one. It has been ripped from the headlines, so you may recognize the plot. Jordan is going to university, and she's chosen a university that's historically black. And her parents wanted her to go to an Ivy League, of course. She ends up in a suite with lots of great roommates, and everything seems to be going well until one of her roommate's brothers, who's an ex-convict, moves in with her and starts manipulating their lives.
Okay. Oh, it sounds intriguing already.
It's very intriguing.
Okay. Another one for the teens?
This is another great one for teens, just released. It's a graphic novel by Mariko Tamaki. You may remember her from Skim and This One Summer. Different kinds of images using the 3-color palette scheme here.
Cool.
It's set in a boarding school just for girls, and there's a murder mystery involved. So if you like Nancy Drew, but you want it to be a little more elevated, a little scarier, then I recommend
this
one.
I love it. Some great selections. Let's talk about for us adults, so what you suggest for us.
For sure. Atmosphere, Taylor Jenkins Reid's latest. She needs no introduction. Hugely popular author, having most of her books adapted to TV series on Netflix, some films as well. So maybe this one will be opted. We shall see. It's a love story but not just a romantic love story. It is a love story about Joan, the main character, and her relationship to space.
Okay,
So,
interesting.
yeah, so she becomes one of the first women to join the NASA Space Shuttle program in the 1980s.
Okay, and then one more for the adults?
So one more for the adults, making Mary Poppins.
Oh,
obviously
interesting,
about the
yeah.
film and the story behind making the first live action film for Walt Disney by the Sherman brothers, who were not well known, didn't really know what they were doing when they started, and quickly obviously becomes like a very iconic film that has been redone and retold so many different ways. Yeah, for sure.
Wonderful. And how can people check out all these reads? What's the best way to get to the public library?
So you can either Google Ottawa Public Library or go on our website, www.biblioottawalibrary.ca. You can search our catalog for any of these titles using the title or the author. You do need your library card to place a hold, so you can get a card online or also come into one of your local branches with photo ID and we'll get you a card.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We do have a live look through our sky cam on George Street this morning, and not a lot of sunshine throughout the morning hours, but we are expecting some fresh snow, 2 up to 4 centimeters and a high of -13 this afternoon. The new year often means a reset and refresh at home. I got a chance to hear from the experts at Molly Maid about making New Year's resolutions to keep your home clean. It's that time where you try and set cleaning goals for the new year, but they aren't always attainable. Veronique Levesque is here with Molly Maids to help us out and with some mini goals that are very doable to keep the house tidy and healthy. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
All right, I love this. I'm the one who needs this the most. So give me all your tips today for a clean and organized 2026.
2026, it's coming.
It is.
So now you don't want to overwhelm yourself.
Yes.
You don't want to say, okay, well, Sunday's going to be the day where I'm going to clean the entire house, and then you're overwhelming with every task. Pick certain days of the week and organize it. So you don't have to do everything in one day, right?
I love that.
Set your days, you know, take a calendar, schedule it, and then you can, you know, Saturday's my bathroom day.
I love that.
You don't need to do more than that. And dusting day. There's also a bunch of great apps out there as well that you can download on your phone if you're you prefer that. And then you could also color code them for someone in your family. So that can be blue, and you know, because everyone can help out.
Or
in
the kids, you can give them little
Yes.
tasks like clean your room, and it's in a
Exactly.
different color. I love that idea, and I think that's the best plan, is to take little steps, because
Little steps.
I try to do it all at once. I get overwhelmed. I start here, I go there, and then nothing is clean. Like,
No,
I don't see any change. So
Yes, so it's
I
just
love this.
Organize it
Organize
in small
it.
little tasks.
Okay, perfect. Let's rethink it.
Rethink it. So rethink some of your tools in your home. So instead of saying, you know, oh, I have to clean my bathroom and it's going to take me a really long time because it's greasy, I have here, like you see this in your kitchen for your dishes. Bring this with you in the shower, and then after every shower, just scrub a bit. Dawn or dish soap, any dish soap is great with water. It's a degreaser.
Right.
So take a few seconds after your shower, just scrub the areas that there's more dirt or soap scum.
Grime,
And then that will help go a long way, clean your shower faster.
So do it little bits at a time.
Little bits at a time. It
like
takes
that.
about a few seconds, right? 10
Yeah.
seconds, scrub, scrub, scrub.
Smart
and then
idea.
same thing, if you have an old toothbrush in those corners,
cracks
or
and
even
corners.
skewers, you know, if you can't get anything like in the window corners or cabinet corners, take your skewers. And then you can scratch there.
Such a great idea. Okay, what are we doing with the recycling? And
So you get all your mail, and then the mail's everywhere. Try to organize it. So as soon as you get your mail, I would suggest that you take it, and if you see something that you don't want right away, put it right away in the recycling.
Get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
Okay.
Your letters or your magazines that you want to get to later, keep them in a magazine holder.
Okay, smart.
And also,
so it's like getting organized right away.
Getting organized. And I have this file folder here. So if you have letters bills, exactly, that you want to get, that you want to sort and you don't want to forget, because you know it's that time of the year after taxes. You're looking for everything everywhere. Take this right away. Keep it at the same spot all the time, and just you don't have to. If you don't have time to open them, don't open them right away. But at least they're all in the same spot.
They're organized.
And
it makes life so much easier when it comes to tax time.
And really, it's just taking your things, putting them. It doesn't take long.
Okay, let's talk about checking things.
Check it. So New Year's coming. Let's take the time to check our alarm. Most people may not know, but there's actually an expiry date behind your alarms. They last about 10 years.
Okay.
So after 10 years, you want to replace, not just change your batteries,
replace
the full alarm.
Okay,
to make sure that you're up to date with that. Check your CO2 as well. And then at the end of all that cleaning, and you want to make sure you're calm and distressed. Make sure in the morning, make your bed, and then at night, you can come in and I have here a little DIY spray, lavender spray.
Okay.
Spray your bed, your sheets, and then you come in at night and it's going to smell a calming, relaxing smell. So after all that cleaning and that stress of the holidays, you get in your bedroom and you can really relax.
Have a nice, clean, organized space. That's zen.
Exactly.
I love it so much. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and helping us reorganize our life for 2026. And coming up in a few minutes, a local dessert maker shares her passion for supporting local and her tasty treat. Here's a live look for our Skycam this morning. A cold start to your day with the wind chill feels closer to -20 this hour.
Happy New Year. I'm Rosie Edda.
I'm Melissa Lamb, and Will is away for today.
We're so happy you can start your day with us. We've got so much on the go here. Why don't we get started with today's top stories? There are questions this morning about who is in charge of Venezuela after the capture of President Nicolas Maduro by the U.S.
Don't ask me who's in charge, because I'll give you an answer and it'll be very controversial.
What does that mean?
It means we're in charge.
On his way back to Washington, U.S. President Donald Trump said he may order another strike if Venezuela does not cooperate with the U.S. President Trump wants Venezuela to open up its oil industry and stop drug trafficking. Venezuela has now appointed Delcy Rodriguez as acting president. She was a senior official in Maduro's government. Debate over the future of Venezuela spilled into the streets of Ottawa as demonstrators gathered outside the U.S. Embassy, arguing the U.S. had no right to get involved.
It's an outrageous violation of Venezuela's sovereignty and the political project that's been unfolding in Venezuela for a number of years.
I am a Chilean. I saw the coup in Chile. I saw when they killed the president. So Maduro has to return to Venezuela. He is the president of Venezuela, and the Venezuelans want him back.
Organizers say they stand with the people of Venezuela in defense of their sovereignty, but some Venezuelans in the capital are cautiously optimistic about U.S. intervention in their home country.
Very glad, very happy, because we want to live with freedom.
She says economic hardship and poor treatment of Venezuelans pushed her to leave. But after hearing Maduro was extracted by the U.S. military, she says she feels some relief.
Canada's former Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland has been named Ukrainian's Economic Development Advisor. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky made the announcement this morning on social media. He says Freeland has experience in attracting investments and is highly skilled at implementing economic transformation. The MP from Toronto has Ukrainian ancestry. For the third year in a row, Czechia has ended Canada's gold medal hopes at the World Juniors.
Now McKenna gathers it back up. Here's Benek the other way for the Czechs. Feeds it Edric Curran moving in. Curran with a chance. Rebound, Wilson from the score.
Czechia scored the go-ahead goal late in the third, then added an empty netter to win 6-4. Canada had opportunities to take control of the game, including 2 chances at a penalty shot, but they still couldn't capitalize. Canada has a chance at a podium finish if they can beat Finland today for 3rd place.
Ontario government employees will be back in office 5 days a week starting today as the province ends hybrid work arrangements in place since the pandemic.
Something 50-50 or 60-40 so that they have that work-life balance and still getting the job done.
My heart's with them because it's been difficult for a lot of people after they become used to spending time in a way where sometimes they're at home, sometimes they're at work.
Roughly half of the 60,000 public service employees have been working in the office 4 days a week since October.
Dozens of people were forced out of their homes after a fire in a multi-unit high-rise building on St. Patrick Street. Ottawa fire crews were called out to the 600 block of St. Patrick yesterday afternoon. Upon arrival, firefighters spotted haze and detected high levels of carbon monoxide throughout the building. An OC Transpa bus was brought in to shelter displaced residents, and the situation was deemed under control just after 3:15 p.m.
2 people are dead after a shooting in Cornwall over the weekend. Police tape surrounds a home on Leach Drive, a residential neighborhood in the east end of the city. Investigators say when they arrived on scene Saturday, they found 3 people, all known to each other, with serious injuries. 2 people died at scene. The 3rd adult was transported to hospital where they remain in stable condition. Police believe this shooting was isolated and there is no risk to public safety.
Great news for skaters this morning. The Rideau Canal Skateway is now completely open.
The National Capital Commission says the full 7.8 kilometers of the skateway is open. However, the NCC says the Patterson Creek area will remain closed to skating this season due to rehabilitation work.
Last season, the skateway opened on January 11th and then closed on March 10th. And we know it was a long skating season last year, and it looks like this year could be even longer since we opened a little earlier. We opened in December. So hopefully we have a nice long skating season.
I mean, today, perfect weather to keep that ice nice and firm. Very, very cold. But then you mentioned it's going to warm up a little bit.
We've seen a very cold November. We've seen a cold December. So it makes sense that they got it open early. But now we're going to see some mild conditions as we head in towards January. So at the end of this week, we do have some temperatures that will be above that freezing mark. Not today. It will stay nice and cold. Great news for the canal. -13 is the daytime high for today. Normal for this time of the year is around -5.9. So around -6 degrees is where temps should be sitting. Of course, the sun, a little bit longer of a day for us, will set around 4:34 p.m. later on this afternoon. So temperatures right now still quite chilly, and we're not going to warm up too much into the afternoon. We're sitting at -16. Does feel closer to -20 this morning. Getting to see a little bit of sunshine out there. -11 in Trenton, -12 currently in Kingston. They'll warm up and be not too bad into the afternoon. So still a little bit cloudy out there, some sunshine this morning, snow on the way. We're expecting some snow to start between 10 and 11 o'clock this morning and continue to snow into your evening, about 2 to 4 centimeters on the way for us on this Monday. So great news for ski hills as well. -13 is the high for this afternoon, -12 in Kemptville, -12 as well in Cornwall, -2 in Kingston, -3 in Trenton. The valley will sit around -9 into the afternoon, -13 over in Gatineau. So temperatures kind of all over the map this week. Cold to start things off, -13 today. 2 to 4 centimeters of fresh snow continuing into the evening. Flurries into Tuesday and Wednesday. Temperatures not so bad though. Average for tomorrow with a high of -6, -2 on Wednesday. So slowly warming up. Mild as we head into Thursday and through the weekend. Forecast daytime highs of 4 and 1 degree Friday and through Saturday. And we are expecting even some wet weather. So we could see a little bit of rain mixed in with some snow towards the end of the work week.
Weather brought to you by Yeckendorf Rashid. Experience, knowledge, and a commitment to excellence.
Here's a live look at your drive-in right now, and traffic is quite heavy. We are definitely dealing with heavier volume out there on the roads this morning as everybody kind of returns to work. Collisions right now. Albion southbound, we have traffic disruptions at Leicester, a disabled vehicle, so expect delays there. Blackburn Hamlet bypass westbound reduced to 1 lane at Innis from a collision. Also, March Road reduced to 1 lane has been cleared right now, so March Road is fine, but it is a little bit heavier east to west still on the Queensway this hour. As we
look at you, right?
Oh, doesn't it look delicious? From milk cakes, brownie bites to buns. Oh, the dessert chapter has got it all covered. Afsana Kabir is here, and wait till you get a look at this incredible spread. Ta-da! I mean, this is amazing. Afsana, this is beautiful.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good morning. Thank
Good
you. How
morning.
Are you?
I'm doing very well. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
Can you
Same to you.
tell me about the dessert chapter?
Yes, so my name is Afsana, as you already mentioned, and I am the owner of the dessert chapter. I started it because I grew up in various different places.
Okay.
There's the South Asia, the Gulf, and I came here.
Yeah.
This is home to me. So I wanted to bring flavors and desserts that are meaningful and memorable, that also has spices that comes from where I came from. So you'll see very familiar desserts like the dessert chapter, then we have the cinnamon buns, caramel sauce. I have lots of milk cakes here, so everything is very familiar and memorable.
Yeah.
But also I added spices that reminds me of home. So if you see here, I have some rose petals.
This is
pistachio.
beautiful.
Yes, I use lots of warming spices in all my desserts.
Okay.
Like if you see here, I have the rose milk cake. The milk has been infused in saffron, topped with rose petals. If you know any Bangladeshi Indian, when I first came here, actually nobody knew what's Bangladesh. Nobody knew what's Oman, and that's where I grew up and was born. So I wanted
Oman and Bangladesh.
Yes.
Okay.
And I studied in Indian school, so I have touches from all over the world. And when I said that, well, I'm from Bangladesh, they were like, "What is Bangladesh?" And this was my idea. I'm like, I need to put Bangladesh on the map.
Yeah.
And Canada has been home to me.
Okay.
So that's my final home, and I thought, why not bring desserts that can spread the word? And here it is. So everything has a little twist from back home. Like I add nutmeg, cinnamon, cardamom. These are very known well spices.
These are
yes,
all milk
that's
cakes here.
Biscoff. These are all my best sellers and very popular. This is the mango. Obviously, it's tropical mango. Everybody loves it. So that's strawberry. This is Biscoff. So everything has a hint of a little warming spice, which is also great for health. So this desserts, they go to the heart, they don't go to the stomach. So it'll give you joy. It'll also make you feel better because saffron, nutmeg, they're all given health benefits as well.
Okay, and then this topping right here, I'm so interested in this. This is Biscoff. This is
yes,
you've
it's
got
the
marshmallow?
cookie butter. Yes.
Oh
No, this is all whipped cream. It's very
it's whipped
light.
cream.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I thought it was marshmallow. That's amazing.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh,
This is
wow,
one
it's
of the
beautiful.
popular bestseller right now.
Beautifully decorated.
Yes, and this
Okay.
is my personal favorite.
Right. This is with the rose petal, right?
Yes, the saffron and rose petals.
Saffron and rose petal, and you've got the milk there.
Yes.
These are milk cakes. That is popular in which country? Milk cakes.
So I know it's stretches in Mexico, but we also grew up with our Indian Bangladeshi
Got it.
version. So I
Okay.
made that in our version.
Yeah.
So I don't want to call it the Mexican dessert. I want to
It's
call
your
it,
version.
Yes, it's my version.
Okay,
yes.
are we going to make something
Yes,
together
so
here?
I got a little
Yes.
activity for
Okay,
us, so
okay.
you can just know how we do it.
All right.
So I have two kinds of milks here. This is the saffron cardamom milk. This is my version, which I grew up with, and this is the twist a little bit. So it's nutmeg and mango. You can choose which one you like.
Oh, you know what? I really want to
perfect.
smell this.
Yes. Do you feel the flavors?
Yeah, that's
yes.
lovely. Okay.
So you're just gonna pour it right into it.
Do you
It's a
pour it on
sponge
top?
cake.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
so you
okay.
go.
Oh, it's a sponge cake, so
The
it can
more
handle
milk,
it.
the better it is.
Oh, wow.
So you just go all over.
Oh my god.
And then let it soak. So usually we soak it like 24 hours overnight is the best. But right now for this, we'll just choose. So this is the mango and this is the plain.
Okay.
So you can go with this.
I'll go with this because you've got this is your mango
yes,
flavored
yes.
milk there.
And this
then,
is the saffron.
Oh no. And then now you got to decorate.
You just decorate however you like.
Let me see.
So I'm just gonna make beautiful.
Why is this so therapeutic? It feels
is.
wonderful
It
to
just-
do this.
I can do this every single day of my life. Oh, you did such a wonderful job.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
This is beautiful.
Love it. And then
Okay.
you can choose whatever toppings. So I
what are you
want
gonna
mine
choose?
to just go coconut because mango and coconut both remind
Yeah,
of
that
home.
does. Very
and
tropical.
coconut is very popular, yes,
Okay.
in the South Asia
Yeah,
world.
so you're going to go with that. And
I'm gonna
these
go
are
with
what?
this. So those are
edible?
just golden balls.
Yeah.
We're very obsessed with gold, if you know.
Yes, yes.
Rose petals, pistachio.
Okay, well then
So-
I've got to go with a little bit of the golden
Yes,
balls
that
and then
would
put
pop
some
up the color,
rose
yes.
petals as
Yes,
well.
please.
Okay.
It's not complete without the rose petals.
Yeah,
Now I
this
can
is
just
beautiful. beautiful. Edible rose petals.
Yes.
Just absolutely gorgeous. And the color.
It's so beautiful,
It's just beautiful. Look at this. I'm trying to be as
you did a wonderful
decorative
job.
as you are.
It's beautiful.
This is lovely. So there you go.
there
And then you
have
got your fork or your spoon and you dig in.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So
Okay.
I'll just, you can take one of those.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Okay.
You can take it. Do you want to take a
Okay.
bite?
And then how would you have tea or what would you
you can
pair
have
with
it
this?
anytime.
Yeah.
I love it with tea. We are very big tea drinkers, so I love it with tea. And it's open for any event, so it goes with any events, baby showers.
Lovely.
I feel so saffron is usually given to pregnant moms, and because it has a lot of beneficial stuff to the body and the eyesight,
lovely.
and it soothes the soul.
The sponge cake is amazing. It goes so well.
Yes, thank
with
you.
the milk, and now I'm just going to taste a little sweetness. Jim.
Yeah. And I kept the sweet in very controlled. It's not overly sweet where it takes over your mind. So just keeping all the flavors balanced while you get the best of it.
This is lovely. I want to do a dance like a little kid. Happy with what I'm eating right now. This is wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful. And then you've got, let's move over here. We went from the milk cakes. Now what do you have here for us?
So I also make cinnamon buns because I thought they were very popular here. And even there I added my own, I would say, desi South Asian flavors.
Yeah.
So this is
gorgeous.
chai caramel. So I added the chai spices again, cardamom and chai. This one is Biscoff. It has a crunch to it. It just bursts of flavors in your mouth. It's amazing. Okay. And this is the same thing. And then I make caramel sauces as well.
And you make caramel sauces. You
so
are
I do
busy
a
at
lot
work.
of desserts.
Yeah.
It's a chapter. So telling my story through desserts.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Afsana Kabir, bringing international flavor to Ottawa.
you.
Love that. How can people get in touch?
So they can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. It's called the Dessert Chapter. My website is under construction, will open soon.
Yeah.
And that's it.
The Dessert Chapter, simply delightful. I'm going to have another bite. If you know of a great chef or restaurant you think you should feature on our show, let us know. Email us, yourmorningottawa@ctv.ca. It's 8:45. Let's take a live look through our Centennial Glass Skycam. You're watching Your Morning Ottawa. We'll be right back.
The most important part of any journey is to arrive safely. Hi, I'm Patricia Bowl.
And I'm Stefan Keys from CTV. Distracted or impaired driving can have devastating consequences.
Hey, it's Ashley.
And Gord from Ottawa's Pure Country 94.
Always plan for a designated driver, and please keep your phone down.
Everyone can help keep communities safe.
Drive safe. Brought to you by the Ottawa Safety Council. For more information on road safety programs and services, visit ottawasafetycouncil.ca.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, I'm Tanea Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barrhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barrhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford dealership, and Ontario's #1 Ford EV dealer.
The ouster of the president of Venezuela by the U.S. military sent shockwaves through the Western Hemisphere as President Donald Trump heralded the operation in the oil-rich Latin American nation a success. In a statement on social media, Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canada has not recognized Maduro's regime since it, quote, stole the 2018 election. But he also writes that he calls on all parties to respect international law. Let's bring in Bill Carroll with more on this from the Morning Rush on News Talk 580 CFRA. Happy New Year to you, Bill.
And Happy New Year to you guys and everybody watching this morning. It's good to be back after a couple of weeks off, but shocking to wake up a couple of days ago and hear that, well, the U.S. had attacked Venezuela and taken their, I'm not going to use the word president in this case because he didn't earn that title, but their leader was taken in the middle of the night along with his wife. I am not going to shed any tears there. I understand this is a government that wasn't considered legitimate by many countries anywhere in the world, and the people of Venezuela may ultimately be much better off without him. The problem I have is, where does this go now? We have the president of the United States He has attacked the nation because he said it was a terrorist, narco, failed state. I've already seen some Trump supporters, granted, the more extreme ones, saying, you know, Canada is already a failed narco state. He's used some of the same arguments that we are a source of fentanyl, that we're not doing enough to stop it. He's used the same language and the 51st state jokes about Canada that he's used against Venezuela. And he's amped up that talk now against Greenland again. At least the leader in Denmark, because Greenland is sort of a Denmark protectorate, was very clear on the weekend. Do not look at Greenland. It would not be legal. We're a member of NATO. You'd be attacking an ally. Very forceful. Our prime minister is obviously trying to stay off Donald Trump's radar. And I'm not sure that's the kind of leadership we need right now. And we need the entire world to stand up and say, justify your attack on Venezuela. And I'm not saying that you can't justify it, but the world needs to know exactly why you did it, what you consider legal about it, even within his own country. Is it constitutional? Can he act without Congress? A lot of questions there. But the world should be demanding answers. Instead, we're all afraid of Donald Trump, and so we're just letting him take over Venezuela. In fact, you know, in the past, when Americans have tried to bring about regime change, we've wondered about their exit plan. I don't even know what the entry plan is here. You know, he talked about the fact that we are now running the country. And then his Secretary of State denied that later and said, no, we're not running the country. You got rid of someone who was the head of a drug cartel, but you left the vice president of the drug cartel in place. Does that make any sense? I mean, we should all have a lot of questions and concerns about this. And Rosie, I haven't even touched on the fact that he now has control of almost the same kind of oil that our country produces. And we're going to have to make some economic shifts and some shifts in our thinking about pipelines and other things based on America having access to oil that previously it was not having access to, because it does have huge economic impact in our country as well. This is a very big deal for Canada. We need to wake up to that.
Bill, yeah, we have a lot of questions. We're going to be talking with Scott Hurst a little bit later. I have a lot of questions for you, but unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you so much, Bill.
I know I talked out the clock as usual, but sorry about that.
Thank you for that, Bill. Have a great show.
You too.
And remember, you can listen to The Morning Rush with Bill Carroll on News Talk 580 CFRA weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. Here's a look at what's coming up on the show tomorrow. Mortgage Minute with Frank Napolitano. We'll be talking with him. And if you are getting married this year, we speak with a local wedding planner about how to get ready. And if you're trying to make new friends in 2026, we've got some advice for you. That is not easy, making new friends. All that and more coming up on the show for tomorrow. But we got to talk quickly about today and the forecast.
Yeah, it's a cold day today. Of course, we saw those cold conditions last week and through this week. We are expecting a high of minus 13 for today. The morning will be still a little bit chilly, feeling closer to minus 20 this morning. Snow, it looks like it should start within the next hour, maybe 2 hours. We're expecting fresh snow on the way, 2 up to 4 centimeters today. Then periods of light snow this evening, tapering off kind of into the overnight. Still staying cold enough for tomorrow, which is great news for the Rideau Canal, as we know the full length of the canal skateway is now opened. It opened just about an hour ago, so I'm sure people might be taking an extended lunch break on their first day back, going for a little skate outside. And I saw so many people out and about all weekend long, so it's so great to see. That's one positive thing about the cold weather. It means a nice long, skate and great ice conditions, but it will warm up middle of the work week, so we'll have a bit of both this week.
Okay, so you bundle up today, you enjoy the skateway, and we'll see how things progress. And tomorrow we're expecting Will back, so we can all wish you all a happy new year, and we'll see how long we do that for, right? Like we see Will tomorrow, we go happy new year, happy new year, and then maybe toward the end of the week, cut it off, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to cut it off the end of the week, but I still get caught sometimes. You just like a crutch, like, oh, happy new year. And you realize it's February and it's way too late for that, but oh well.
Well, we'll say happy new year to you, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Take good care.